Going live to the world. Here's where I have to start performing. Good morning, Derek.
Hello.
Introverted selling. I love it. I love it. Awesome. All right. We are broadcasting live on all the streams. If you're watching this on demand, get ready because we're about to have a good 3 hours of power when it comes to driving revenue, particularly to my friends who are doing account-based sales. And what account-based sales is you're not just funneling people all automated, like you're talking with people, and generally you're working with folks and, there's a little bit of value there. You might be selling big ticket, but not a whole lot is going to happen until you have a conversation with folks. And I'm a huge fan of account-based sales and marketing because that really gives you the opportunity to get to know people personally. And if you can help people, if you can solve people's problems, guess what? They will give you lots and lots and lots of money for that. Alisa, how many not contractors, but like just agencies and consultants and coaches and like just third-party service providers do we hire? Alisa Nolan is my COO of Up My Influence. It's a hefty amount. If you add up it's
all of our partners.
A lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you figure all of the PR agency and directory networks and everything that we work with, it's over 11,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so what I'm talking about is like contractors that we hire. So like people that help manage, different aspects. Like I've got a book coach. I've got, an affiliate marketing coach. I've got coaches for everything. And why do I do that? Who in this room or who watching right now has ever hired a coach? Why would you do that? It's because
you got to keep learning.
Please. Yes. Only a fool believes that they know everything, right? It's that, it's just like someone who, the more someone thinks that they know, the more the data shows that they actually don't know a whole lot. And it's kind of, that same saying too, is the more I know, the more I realize I don't really know a whole lot. I know a couple of things really, really, really well. I'm probably one of the best in the world at a couple of very niche-y, nerdy things because I just obsess on those things. So again, welcome to everybody that's popping in. We're going to get started with Lynn's presentation. Here's the benefit of, coming in early is if you desire, would love to hear who you are and what you do. So Derek, I saw that you do introverted selling. How wonderful to have you. Are you familiar with Matthew? Oh gosh, what's his name?
Pollard.
Who?
Pollard.
Yeah, Matthew Pollard. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I've done some, believe it or not, like I do have some energy when I need to turn it on, but oh mama, do I need to turn it off when I'm in between sessions or whatever. And that's where I just like my doggy Levi and I go walking around the block and I'm like kind of recharging.
You need your break.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tell me what you do.
Well, I'm in the beginning stages. What you just said about the more you know, the more you don't know actually really resonates with me because I decided that I was going to go on my own. I had a desire to teach introverts how to sell is from my history and the background and things I see and a lot of the things that you talk about in your promotional stuff that attracted to me, like stuff that I just can't do. And so many introverted personalities don't like sales, don't want to do sales, don't want to be like that. But the reality is, I say it's physically impossible for you to be like that.
Yeah, I believe that it's absolutely an asset. where, someone that, again, if we were to stereotype about introverted personalities, we might say, well, there might be a potentially a bit more, the ability to listen,
Right.
just let other people do the talking kind of thing. If you can ask good questions, honestly, I think that is such a huge part of it, because what we know, from How to Win Friends, Influence People, it's like, if you can make other people feel great, and you can truly make them feel valued, and their gaps, their problems, their needs are, oh my gosh, tell me more about that. I mean, they're going to walk away from that conversation going, that was one of the greatest conversations I've ever had. Oh yeah. What did the other person say? Not a whole lot, but I got to talk a lot. I got to explain everything. Like, I felt listened to, I felt heard, I felt empathized with, and it's so crazy valuable. So,
well, and this is what plays right into our hands, because we love it when you're doing the talking and we're listening and we're absorbing the information, and we take in all the clues that most people don't get, and we just process it all, and then we're able to say, okay, this is what this person needs really quick. Here's what I see, and let's ask some questions, and I'm going to listen, and I'm probably going to be a big help. And people will say, we're your best salesperson, not your top money maker, like not the top of the charts, but the clients will say,
the clients are going to love you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're the person that takes care of me and looks out for me and thinks of this and thinks of that.
Love it, Derek. Okay, let me go through. Thank you so much for sharing. I've got a few things to go through really quick. Number one, at 1 p.m., make sure you've already gone to Fame and Profit by 1 p.m. Go to Fame and Profit right now, our website for the event. This is a free event. It's completely sponsored. Sponsors are taking care of everything. You could just show up, grab a free ticket, go there, because that's where you'll find the Zoom link. And so just register for free, and then you'll immediately get an email with your private video page. And not only will you be able to watch the live stream with us, where we're going to take about 2/3 of our presentations for the day and stream them live with you. You also get access to all of the presentations. And holy cow, Lisa, today is a great day. Let me go through what you are going to learn today. So our first speaker in about 3 minutes here is Lynn Whitbeck, who is one of our mentors, 7 surefire ways to boost your referrals and sales. I need to let you know, I have not done one bit of outbound prospecting. I don't slide into DMs. I'm not cold emailing people. I don't do any of that stuff. And I haven't done that for over 3 years. No, just under 3 years. It was about midway through November 2019 is when I told the team, I'm like, stop talking about what we do on LinkedIn. Like, we're good. Like, we have a good steady stream of high ticket clients that we get to work with. We're good. We don't have to do any of that. So, but when Lynn's about to speak here in a couple minutes, when she talks about referrals, her system absolutely works. After that, Amanda Abea, who's going to talk about on-the-call sales skills, actually what you need to say, you must say. I think she gets into a little bit of objection handling, which gets into our third speaker. And boy, does Annie Ruggles have energy, not an introvert. Which you'll see, but she talks about handling objections with empathy. And so she's going to be our third speaker here. Man, Elisa, you talk about a 1, 2, 3 punch right there. This is going to be a sales masterclass for all aspects of just making this work. So,
and just such powerful women with powerful messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I am just so impressed with the female leadership and the speakers that we have at this event. And again, would we look at like what we really wanted for? We wanted to find leaders who are teaching messages of empathy, not bro marketing, where it's just, sleazy, and again, I'm stereotyping here, but it's just sliding into DMs, selling, just kind of used car sales tactics, a traditional used car sales tactics, closing. What do we got to do to get you into this, baby? Like, none of that stuff at all. This is all about truly listening and empathizing with other people. Why? Because you make a lot more money doing it that way today. In fact, I've got a lot of data that I'm going to be talking about, we'll continue this. We'll have a VIP mixer and speaker mixer, which takes place at 12 noon, which will not be live streamed on the socials. And so to get access to that, you just simply go to FameandProfit.com. That is for our VIP attendees. So if you want to pick up a ticket for that, you could do that. And then we'd love to have you join us. We're going to be connecting you with our speakers. We're going to be doing some networking. We basically want to help you find sales connections, JV partners, that sort of thing. We want to help you kind of create this 1 + 1 = 11. Now, big deal, big deal. At 1 p.m., my keynote is going to take place. And my keynote, I am going to be revealing what I have learned. I'm a podcaster. I've done over 1,400 podcast interviews for my show, The Thoughtful Entrepreneur. One of the questions that I ask almost every person, either on the show or afterwards, say, where do your best customers come from? And I'm going to reveal kind of the TLDR. I'm going to reveal exactly what they tell me, what they've told me. I only interview 6, 7, and 8-figure business leaders on my podcast for the Thoughtful Entrepreneur. And basically, I'm going to share exactly what I've learned after talking with these 1,400 people. I've done a couple of 7-figure companies myself. I'm not too shabby at this. I've been doing this for a couple of decades. So I've definitely got some insight about very tactically, very specifically what you can be doing starting this week and every single week through 2023 so that you can just drive revenue. Because again, revenue comes from closed sales and account-based sales. Closed sales come from sales conversations. So if you want more sales, you got to have more sales conversations. And if you want to have more sales conversations, you're just going to need more at-bats. You really are. So, a couple other speakers you definitely want to watch out for. Rudy Rodriguez is going to be talking about some great mindset stuff. David Lindsay, 5 steps toward improved vitality. Again, I would say not an introvert, but man, is this guy going to get you feeling so great about who you are and what's going on. And then we've got some other fantastic, Chris Colt, Amy Dix, Katie Brinkley, how to use DMs with integrity and in a non-salesy way, but actually drive, again, great partnerships and sales. And then we'll also have a few other speakers. And then we're going to close out today, Fabi Paolini, who is going to talk about attracting ready to invest clients by going from pain marketing to gain marketing. Woo! Sabrina, it's going to be a great day. Derek, it's going to be awesome. So kick back, clear the schedule, clear the decks, keep the Zoom going, keep the live stream going. We'll see you over. Come and get your free ticket at Fame and Profit Lab. And so with that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and let's tee up my presentation here with Lynn Whitbeck. Come and join us in the Zoom. I'll be live chatting with you all day long. Well, I am so delighted that I have one of my key mentors in my life, Lynn Whitbeck. I am so excited for this presentation because I know a lot of what you're about to share. And I got to tell you that, when Elisa, my chief operating officer, and I went through your program a couple of years ago, it was just like, yes, this tracks, this makes so much sense. Like, this is the way I enjoy to be number one sold to, but like, this is the way I love doing business. I love human to human. I love person to person. I love getting great word of mouth. But again, I think if we're not intentional about that, it's so easy to be missing out. And we think about, when we don't have great referral systems in place, how much harder that is. So Lynn, you are the founder of Petite Queen. You are, I'll let you explain, who you are, what you do. I just know that you're absolutely brilliant. I've loved working with you. Lynn, take it away, please.
Well, Josh, thank you so much. And you and Alyssa are the best. And spoiler alert, if you are not interested in relationship first sales, this is not a good session for you. Okay. So this is about relationships, and the best way to grow your business and increase your profits is with referrals. So I'm going to look down a couple times to make sure I get the stats right, but referral leads convert 30% better than leads generated from other marketing channels. So in addition to this immediate result, there's much more value generated over the lifetime of the relationship. And we're going to go into that and why. And if you haven't wondered, referrals are often called word of mouth marketing. So let's move on to, hey, who am I? My career began in sales, and I tell you, it was as a Girl Scout. I was selling those cookies, and let me tell you, I wanted to get that coveted cookie badge, and you had to sell a truckload of cookies. And well, I did. So, and fast forward to my corporate career, I was closing multi-million-dollar deals, literally being flown all over the world. And those positions and that career eventually led to the C-suite. And today, business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down clients. They lack retention, conversion, and profits. So I help eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to unleash lasting profits and ignite your sales. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Sales is a win-win. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about what we're going to cover today. So as I flip my sheets, we are going to learn how you can, it's much easier to close a sale that's from a referral. And as I mentioned, they help your business in the long term. So, and I want to tell you right now, I want you to really hear this. If you are not already asking for referrals, you are simply losing money every year. Okay. So let's talk about what we're going to cover in this session. By the end, you're going to know how to identify what's holding you back, use the EAR methodology to grow your business, how to incorporate referrals into your sales process and your partner process, and to leverage scripts so that you can ask for the referral. You know, the bottom line here is that by systematically implementing referrals into your sales process, you're going to be able to serve more people, shorten your sales cycle, increase your profits, and make more money. All right. So let's talk about why you even want to ask for a referral. Because maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm doing great. I don't need a referral. Okay. So I just talked about it. You actually serve more people when you have that opportunity to bring referrals in. I mean, Josh is a master at this. All right. So let's go that those connections and asking for the referral, you have this ability to serve more people, to actually create more impact in those individuals, in the businesses, in those communities. All right. You have the ability to shorten your sales cycle. Referrals don't take as long. They already have some idea of who you are and what you do. They come pre-loaded. All right. You increase your sales profit because the cost of the client acquisition, it's not as great. And they already like, know, and trust you from the beginning, and they're ready to go. All right. Ultimately, referrals help you make more money. So I already mentioned this, but I'm going to say it again because it really bears repeating that referral leads convert 30% better than any other marketing channel. So I talked about the lifetime value of that. And you might say, well, why? Why is there this greater lifetime value in a referral? And it's because, so here's the thing, people who are referred to you, they already have trust built in because their friend, their peer, their business partner has recommended you. They've referred you. All right. They have a better idea of who you are, what you do, what your product or services is, how you can help and serve them. So as I said, they come preloaded and they have a good impression of you before they ever talk to you because their friend, their partner, their business associate has recommended you. All right. So here's a big bonus fact. People who are referred to you, they are 4 times more likely to become referrers themselves. So if Josh refers Tom to come and work with me, Tom is going to be 4 times more likely to then in turn refer Rebecca. And Josh, I know that you've experienced this and providing these kinds of fresh referrals. And I think that as we go through this, what we want to do is also look at another added lifetime value benefit. And that is that people who are referred to you, they stay longer. You retain them. They have a 10 to 20% higher retention for those clients. Because once again, they've got this extra trust built in. So if something goes sideways, and it always does, you've got that little bit of extra oomph, right, in that relationship from the get-go. So this is all the reasons why referrals are so important in your business strategy. All right. So now I want to talk about sort of what I consider the elephant in the room. Why the heck is someone not asking for a referral, or why you're not doing it? And because the truth be told, that when someone makes a purchase of a product and they're happy with that, they want to recommend it to their friends. All right. Now, they may not go out of their way to do that. They need to be prompted or asked. But 83% of consumers are willing to refer after a positive experience. All right. So how and why do so many salespeople fail to take action on referrals? And so, or even just do it in a really half-baked way. There's a couple things, and you see them on the sheet here. One is you could feel awkward, or you could fear rejection. And I want to tell you right now, if that's your why, if that's about emotions and fears that are inside, then you need to invest some time to identify why you are feeling this way. All right. This is what's that root cause that's holding you back, and run through like the worst case, the best case, and the most likely scenario. What's the worst case? They're going to say no. Go through that. And when you do that, it helps you move forward and really identifying what's holding you back. Now, there could be another reason. Maybe it's because you've not truly earned the referral. Okay, so here's the thing. If your organization or even yourself, you haven't given that client a delightful experience, you haven't earned the right. And I want to be very clear about this. If this is because there are gaps or areas that need to be fixed within the business, you need to address those client pain points and to provide outstanding service and or your product. You need to fix that. You need to do it right away, because then you can earn the right to ask for the referral. Now, there's another one. Some of you could actually not feel that you deserve the referral. Like literally, you have imposter syndrome. And if you haven't heard about that, you've been under a rock. This is something that happens. And I know for a fact, I have encountered many people who truly, they don't feel that they deserve a seat at the table or deserve the referral. Now, once again, this is something that you need to do some growth mindset work. We have a free course on how to overcome imposter syndrome. I'd recommend that, because with growth mindset exercises and a referral plan, practice, and putting processes in place, you will and are able to expand your comfort zone and become a natural referral requester. So, and I'm going to give you one last reason. And maybe you're not even thinking about it. Okay. In my corporate career, that was me. I was freaking busy. I didn't think about it. I just didn't think about it. I cannot imagine how many opportunities I missed out because I wasn't asking for a referral. I received referrals because I gave great service and we had a great product and programs that we offered. However, I failed to ask. So if that's you, wake up. Let's get you asking, and let's get that business flowing in with more ease. Because if asking for referrals is not part of your current sales process, you need to make it a priority to fix. Okay, let's fix this. All right. Now I'm going to talk about the EAR methodology. So this is the core piece of the philosophy that I am going to be, I'm talking about right here. First, you need to earn the right. You need to create a wow experience for your client, right? When you deliver a delightful client experience, they are happy and eager to provide you with reciprocity in the form of referrals. And you also have the confidence and assurance to ask for the referral because you've given this great service, right? Now, number 2, you must ask for the referral. All right. I always say this, don't ask, don't get. So back in my corporate career, I didn't ask, so I didn't get. I actually still got because we did give great service. But it's going to be a heck of a lot easier on you if you ask, right, Josh? You got to ask. Yeah, ask for what you want. And I'm going to dig into this a little bit more, but there's a choice tidbit here I want to offer you. And that's that when a client starts working with you, there's an optimal time of 48 hours within that frame of when they start to work with you to ask for a referral. They're super excited. You know, they've made this decision to move forward. They've got those pumping emotions going. It's a great opportunity for you to do that. And we're going to go through the process of making sure you make that happen. So, and now number 3 of the EAR is you need to recognize and reward that behavior. So you want to recognize and reward anyone who gives you a referral. And the key is, I'm going to say it just like a 2-year-old, you want to reward the behavior you want repeated, right? You know, all the parents out there. And it's not a matter of the size of the reward. It's not like you're going to be giving them a trip to Hawaii or Bali or wherever else, but it's something that's of value to the client. They have to perceive that it's of value. And that can be a heartfelt phone call with a thank you. It can be making a donation in their name to a charitable cause, the World Red Cross, right? American Red Cross or something else. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that. You can send them a gift card. We're going to go into some of those later on here. The key is that when you reward someone, you recognize and reward them, they will likely repeat the behavior. They got the atta girl, they got the atta boy, and that's what matters. All right. So let's talk about incorporating your referrals into your sales process. And this is truly your secret to success. Asking for a referral is not a question about asking for it too soon. Okay. I want to get that clear. Even though I said you have to earn the right, there's other ways that we are going to walk through seeding the idea of referrals early in the sales process. And Josh is nodding his head. So we follow the mention it early, mention it often process. So this really needs to become part of your sales process DNA. And this is truly a competitive edge because 98% of businesses do not have a written, trained sales referral process in place. 98%. So it is a real competitive edge. All right. Now, as you begin to build the rapport with the new client, I want you to think about how you can plant the seeds in their mind. So here's an example, and I'm just going to look at my notes here. You know, it's so wonderful working with you. So many of my clients are referrals, and I don't usually get this kind of rapport with someone I just met. So right there, I've actually seeded the idea that most of my clients come from referrals. And this is early in the sales process. This can be right after you've met someone, that first call that you have with them. Heck, it can be at a networking event and you're starting to get into a longer conversation, right? So there you go. Now, next, as you go through your process and you're working through to cultivate the relationship and you're working through the decision process where they're getting ready to make that decision, this is another place for you to, sprinkle some of that miracle grow on those referral seeds. So here's an example. I'm super happy that you are now part of my network. And just so you know, everyone in my network, whether they start out as you or were referred to me, gets the same laser focus on your specific needs. So once again, that is how you're introducing that idea that, yeah, they were not a referral in this case, but so many of your clients are referrals. All right. So this really is cultivating that idea of referrals. And this is really setting the stage so that when you've earned the right to ask for the referral, they're a client and you're actively doing business with them, that they're ready. They're ready and they're waiting for you to ask for the referral. So here's an example that you can ask right after the sale. All right, so once again, I'm going to look at my notes. Who do you know in the world who can use my service? And stop talking. Stop talking. And if this is another part of bonus tip, use the powerful pause. All right, stop talking. You can do like a you can smile, make eye contact, let them process and formulate a response and then share that with you. All right. So that's a really key piece. And now, whichever way they respond, there's going to be an appropriate response to that. But if they have a referral right then and there, we're going to take action on that. We're going to cover that next. But if they don't, I need to think about that. You can say, please don't hesitate, as you meet people, as you come across them in your travels and day-to-day business, please don't hesitate to send them my way. They will receive the same level of care and attention that you have received. All right. So here's my assignment to you. I want you to start thinking about how you're going to be asking. I want you to incorporate this into your sales process. Use your language, what works for you, and how you can do that on the fly. And don't be looking down and reading your notes when you're doing it. Okay, so that's my tip. And I would love to have you provide us some feedback and let Josh know what you think. And I want to remind you that this is so critical to incorporate into your sales DNA. And because regular referrals can actually double your profits. And I already said this, but it really bears repeating. It's a significant competitive edge because 98% of businesses do not have a written and trained referral process. So this is how you can really stand out in the crowd. Okay, I went back the wrong way. Woohoo! All right. I already said, mention it early, mention it often. And this is a core part of incorporating it into your sales strategy. And I want to give you some tips on asking for those referrals. So the number one thing is to frame your referral by focusing on the product or service you provide. Okay. Number two, include who you serve, your ideal client, and the core benefits of your service. So if you can get all of that sort of in there, that's a fantastic way to put that in place. Now, I've got an example, and this is for someone who's in insurance. Do you know anyone who could use an insurance plan to protect their assets while giving them peace of mind? Now, here in this example, what I've got is I've provided direction because I've given them a core pain point, protecting their assets. It's also a core benefit, and then a core benefit of having peace of mind, right? And so this is, and in this case, almost everybody needs insurance of some form. So this is a little bit more broad, but it still is addressing a core benefit and core pain points that people will then be able to say, oh yeah, I happen to know that Josh really wants to protect his assets, and it's going to help him sleep better at night, especially with those hurricanes whipping back and forth over Florida. So, okay, that's not something that should be laughed at. I'm sorry, that's not funny. Especially you just went through that. So essentially what you're doing is you're providing them direction, and now you want to provide them with direction on how they can give you those referrals. And the bottom line is you have to make it easy for them to do so. That whole saying, keep it simple, stupid. I mean, this is it. They've got to make it easy for them. If it's hard or some kind of onerous, it's not going to work that well. So, and everyone is going to have a different process based on your product or service, how you interact with your clients. But here are some examples. So if you're talking with a client, I'm talking with Josh, he has a great idea to introduce me to Sarah, then I could say, hey, let's get on a 3-way call right now because we're talking on the phone, and introduce Sarah. So even if we don't get Sarah on the call, Josh could say, hey, Sarah, I've got to tell you about, my friend Lynn. I've been doing this great work with her. I really think you should talk with her. I'm going to provide her with your contact information, so she'll be reaching out. And there you go. Then you have the voicemail left, right? Josh could also provide that as a written referral in an email, in an introduction. So he's introducing Sarah and I. He could also give me Sarah's contact information, and then I would reach out to Sarah in the same way. I would CC Josh and say, hey, Sarah, Josh recommended that we talk, so you want to put that together. Now, obviously, all of these things are great methods. Another one is to use Facebook, LinkedIn, or WhatsApp messaging and do the same thing. Do sort of a 3-way so that Josh will tell Sarah about Lynn. He can use his phone, which I set down somewhere, and he can actually leave a voice message. He could leave a video message introducing us. And once again, why he's connecting us, so that we can then, Sarah and I can connect and have a conversation. So here's a bonus tip I want you guys to think about, because this is really important as well. So Josh just gave me this wonderful referral to Sarah. Keep Josh in the loop. Let him know how it went. Hey, I had a fabulous conversation with Sarah. Thank you again for introducing us. I'm looking forward to seeing how this could progress. And then Sarah becomes a client. Hey, Josh, just wanted to let you know Sarah became a client and we've started to work together. So that gives Josh this positive reinforcement that his referral, he was able to give me something of value, right? He gave me, give, right? We always talk about the give, get. And so this is a great way to keep your partners in that loop, your referral partners. And you also have this opportunity to touch base with them, so that in turn, I can talk about, hey, what's going on with you? I know somebody that I'd like to introduce you to. And you can deepen that connection and the relationship. All right, let's go on to talking about what I call the secret sauce of referrals. Now, you need to plan out how you're going to respond to your clients when you ask for a referral, because they could have questions. So you're going to want to work out, what are their frequently asked questions? What are they likely to ask you? And what the process looks like. They may want to know what questions that they should answer if they refer you. So there's some things that you need to work out, once again, so you can make it super easy and simple so that they can answer that. And when you have that worked out ahead of time, it's really easy for you on the fly to answer the question. Oh, well, this is how the referral process works. You provide an introduction. I will then connect with Sarah, Josh, and I'll keep you in the loop to let you know how that goes. So if you want to go ahead and give me her contact information, I'll send the email for us and introduce us. And of course, if she reaches out to you, I'd love to have you tell Sarah what a great experience you've had, right? And so that's how you just make sure you know that you can answer their questions and you're ready to go. One of the other things I want to point out is when Josh gives me that referral to Sarah, take immediate action. And this is so critical. You may not be able to interrupt your task at hand, but for goodness sakes, put it in your iCal as a note, put a sticky note on your desk, add it to your CRM, whatever method you use to make sure that it gets done. So that way, if you don't do it today, you will do it tomorrow. It's a priority that you make that connection, because Josh has given you a gift of this referral, and you need to take action on that and show him that how much you value the gift that he's given you with that referral. And I want to think about this again, about how you can build that regular relationship activities around referrals. So we just said, you can give value without strings. So when that give, get. So as we get those referrals, we can also provide that whole follow-up outreach and follow-up sequence of delivering value to them. I can deliver value to Josh by recognizing, rewarding the referral that he provided and keeping him in the loop. I can provide Josh with referrals of my own. So I can present him with people that I feel would make a great fit for his programs. And those are all things that we need to do. Another one is to build out your own strategic referral partner network. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to do that in the next slide. But one of the things that as you go through this, be mindful of being front of mind, both with that referral that you received and the referral partner who provided that referral. And pay attention to your cadence. Don't become a pest. This is part of that outreach strategy and your follow-up strategy. You want to be front and first in mind, but you don't want it to turn into that you're hounding them. All right. And that also pays off when you're delivering value, that they're more likely to perceive that they're welcoming of the inquiries. And so a bonus tip, once again, here's my bonus tip, is that the more senses that you can engage in your referral, your outreach, your follow-up process, the better you're going to make an emotional connection. So we can see an email, but if you send a message on LinkedIn messaging, they'll see it and they'll hear it, right? And so that's a second sense that you're now tapping in. If you send them something physically, you can make sure that it has a tactile feel, that they seal it, that they can hear maybe the crackle of the paper or something as they open it up. They can experience a number of other emotions around it because of the senses that come across. I want everybody to think about this. If anyone's ever purchased an Apple product, there is like this whole emotional thing you go with when you open that product because of how that's been packaged. And that's attaching emotions because of the different senses that they're engaging in the process of unwrapping that package. So the key here is I want everyone to sort of think outside the box on how you can provide value and create this connection with the referrals that you receive. So here's an idea. Whoops, I'm not even sure what I just did there. In my insurance example that I'd used, one idea would be sending a birthday or anniversary card for the policy. All right. So not for the person, it's actually for their policy renewal. It's sort of just out there and it could be funny. You can engage their humor. And the key is always to think like your client and be mindful of what it means to the client and make that connection. All right, so we're going to go into some of my favorite tools and resources. So I rub my hands together. Josh has received these before, my Jackie Lawson e-cards. I love these e-cards. So the subscription is very affordable. It's just sinfully inexpensive. I don't even know what the current rate is, $30 a year. And it's unlimited cards that you can send. One of the things I love about these cards, and no, I don't work for Jackie Lawson. I don't have stock there. I just think it's a great product. They're very professional. They're perfect for business. But you can actually load in your address list and you can send cards to a group of people and they never get like this came from a mailing list. It looks like it came to them individually. And so that's a great way also to make connections. It's the first day of spring. Let's go out and celebrate. Get your feet on the ground, breathe in the air. Well, depending on where you are, of course, but get that, feel the wind, right? And so those are things that you can do on any time of year and use these cards. So another great tool is restaurant.com. Now, this is great if you're providing, especially for localized businesses, because there's a whole bunch of restaurants that are in a local area. So Orlando, Florida, there'd be a whole bunch of businesses there in Orlando, Florida. So I could send Josh a gift card that's basically valid at all these restaurants in Orlando, Florida. And he could decide where he wanted to go and take his family and use this gift card. What's really, truly cool about these is like currently, I'm going to read this because they have a special going that when you purchase 4 $50 gift cards, they charge you $32. So in other words, you're paying $8 for a $50 gift card. I mean, it's crazy. And of course, the reason this works is that people go to the restaurants, they end up buying cocktails or they get hors d'oeuvres, they buy dessert, and the restaurant still does great. So it's a really terrific piece that you can use. And of course, you always have to be mindful of different businesses and their policies around things like this. So with that said, I want to shift now to talking about building your strategic referral network. So what you're looking to do is to seek out partners who are in the same industry and they complement your product or service. I do sales strategy, right? Josh and I complement one another with what he does because he's very focused on how he delivers his service to his clients, which is amazing. And I could also partner with somebody who is completely focused on LinkedIn. That's what they do. They really help people with their LinkedIn, or somebody who really helps people with Instagram or Facebook, or someone has some other type of core sales strategy, such as core communications and effectively communicating human to human. So those are the types of things that you can look for and pull in. So I'm going to give you that example again about insurance. So they've got a whole bunch of natural referral partners. That could be mortgage, it could be realtors, it can be financial advisors, right? All of those people make up a natural fit for them to be referral partners because they can also refer business back to those people because it's a network. You're referring business to one another, like a pod, okay? And so this is what I recommend. I want you to make a list of potential referral partners and then pick up the phone, okay? And I want you to call your future referral partner. And here you go. Josh, I'm building my referral partner network and would love to send referrals your way. When are you available to discuss how we can support one another? Are you going to take that call? I think he's doing something, but I would think he'd give us a thumbs up that yes, he would take that call. Absolutely, he would take that call. And in no time at all, you're going to be able to build a strong network of referral partners, of complementary business peers. All right. So there you have it. We are on the 7 surefire ways to boost your referrals and sales. And we talked about how to feel confident and assured, the EAR methodology, building referrals into your sales process, how to ask for referrals, taking action and keeping in touch, tools and resources for recognizing and rewarding referrals, and building your referral partner network to bring in even more business. Here's the key. You need to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. Because the bottom line is that systematically implementing referrals into your sales process will allow you to serve more people, shorten your sales cycle, increase sales profit, and make more money. And I want to let you know you can connect with me multiple ways. So first, I'm the only Lynn Whitbeck on LinkedIn. So that's super simple. And our website is petitetoqueen.com. We have loads and loads of free tools, masterclasses, and resources that will help you surge your sales forward. You can watch my TV show, Get More Clients, there and listen to our shows. And in addition, number 3, you have the opportunity to jump in and get the support you need for true success. And you can say yes to you and get on a call with me. You know, I am truly gifted at this, and you deserve the support and shortcuts you need for your success. So on behalf of the Fame and Profit Summit, I've carved out a limited number of time slots, and I invite you to hop on a call, an Ignite Your Sales call with me, the P2Q link /win-win. And I would love to find out what's going on in your world, what you would like to have working, what's not working, and what you would love to have working. And this is the key thing, is that how can I potentially support you in creating and generating more leads and converting more sales and fulfilling on your promise as a brand and organization. I believe that the fastest way to success is to assure people know that they matter. And the best way to make this happen is to create a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. And when you do this, you'll find that growing your business is easy and lucrative. So today we revealed the 7 surefire ways to boost your sales and referrals. And the key right now is you need to implement these steps and stop wasting time, energy, and resources. I said it before, I'm going to just say it again. Just take action, because this is the key thing. I've given you a whole bunch of information. You need to apply that knowledge. You can read a million books, but if you don't apply the knowledge, you're not going to be able to move forward. So apply this knowledge. And you have the opportunity to jump in and say yes to you and get on a call with me. You've got the link there. And the bottom line is that my purpose is to help you get more clients. And there's no reason to make this harder than it needs to be. Sales should be a win-win. All right, Josh, that is my presentation.
Well, Lynn, and what a super, super generous offer. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. I'm just telling you that, again, I thought we knew a lot of good stuff, but, Lynn, what I just really appreciated the process of working with you is that you just simply helped us provide more structure and just awareness to maybe some things that we were doing unconsciously, some things that we were doing inefficiently, and it was just awesome. So again, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. Also, thank you, Lynn, for being a platinum sponsor of this event as well. Again, that's just part of that collaboration. And, and I truly believe, kind of like what you've talked about, when we lead in generosity and, when you talk, that part where I was like nodding my head. So I like almost broke my neck. I was nodding my head. So I was like, listen, and here's the deal. And hopefully you've heard me say this before, if you're watching this session right now, is that when you are working with people they're professionals, I truly believe you cannot outgive the market. Like when you lead with generosity, and also too, another part where I was nodding my head vigorously was this idea of seeding ideas, right? And so we're treating it like it's just normal. So when we go into a restaurant, right, we want to know, we look for cues. You're like, wow, they're really featuring this one item. It must be popular. If it's popular, it must be good. And so we're just much more inclined to buy that product because, again, of social proof. And, again, we want to do what other people do. And so when we let our clients know, our friends know, our guests know, hey, this is just normal. And I'm so honored at the fact that that's normal. Like, people pick up on it. They're picking up on all your poker tells. And again, that's what we want to do, is we would just want to make sure. So Lynn, I don't mean to repeat everything. I just want to, again, kind of further edify what you're talking about is absolutely accurate. It's true. A lot of the leaders I work with, they've, become rather masterful at this. And so again, I just want to thank you for this amazing, amazing presentation.
Well, thank you, Josh. And it was my pleasure. And if I can help people, once again, create more impact through their sales, they get the opportunity to help more people, those businesses and those communities. I can sleep really well at night.
I love it. All right, Lynn Whitbeck, thank you so much. All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, so if you're in the Zoom chat right now, we got a bunch of people. Come on back on video. I'm going to have you on screen. And look, I just woke up, people. No, Lynn's presentation was amazing. And it absolutely worked, right? So again, kind of, my impression at the end there was just this, we do what feels normal, right? And so, and oftentimes, right, if we're in a sales environment, we need lots of cues, right, as to know what is normal, because doing nothing is normal. Not referring people, that's kind of normal, right? So to let people know, oh no, it's normal, like this is just the way, this is how I do my business, then people say, oh, when in Rome, do as the Romans. And so when I engage with Lynn, that's what we do. So again, pop on Zoom, or if you're not on Zoom, go to FameandProfit.com. If you're just watching us on the live stream, you're missing out, because in the chat, I'm like, listen, I'm having everybody tell me what you do, share your business. I want to know, maybe who can I connect you with? What is it, who are your clients? And that's going to be my question right now. So if you pop on Zoom, we're going to broadcast you to the world. Unless you don't want to, you can give me the thumbs down. No, don't call on me. But what I'd love to do is just give you a moment just to kind of promote yourself. So here's the deal. Derek, you're in space one. Being sitting in the front row has its advantages. You get called on by the comedians. So and then we'll go to it says Educatrix Advanced Practice Seminars. I don't know your first name, but I'll go to you in just a second. But can I ask you, Derek, who would make a really great referral for you so we can all send people your way? Oh, go ahead. Oh, I have to control the unmute. Hey, Sabrina, you've got, if you can help me remember that too, just so I don't forget. Okay, now I just hit the master control. You should be able to unmute yourself now. Sorry about that.
Well, it's wise to keep me muted.
You never know. Yeah, but Derek, who would make a really good referral for you? Because I know you teach introverted selling, which
right.
Statistically, more of us are introverts than truly extrovert.
Right. So the person I could probably help is someone who has their own community right now, and within that community, they may need people who need a little bit of help and guidance with the sales and marketing end, perhaps because they are uncomfortable with the common sales and marketing strategies that we're confronted with all the time.
Yeah. Yep. And there's a lot of that, where you just, take control of the conversation and, just like all this other stuff. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's, it's like, but you have to. And I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't believe that. Like, I believe that we thrive in business when we are in integrity with who we are. And when we're pushing ourselves outside of integrity with who we are, people know. Yeah. They can feel it. They can feel your discomfort. So why on earth would you put yourself in an environment where you're visibly, energetically uncomfortable, awkward, and I'll tell you, sales, when you feel out of integrity, good luck. Right. And I don't say good luck. I'm like, please change.
Well, people can tell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But a lot of times people have to do it because they're made to do it. And that's sort of one of my driving forces is I was made to do certain things and told I had to be certain ways and act certain things if I was ever to be successful. And that's the kind of person that I really want to help, that might be feeling like this and it's limiting their growth, but there are different ways. You don't have to be like that. Totally. Sort of my little slogan.
We had a DEI speaker yesterday who talked about, kind of the importance of inclusion. And I love this concept, right? Is that all of your customers are not going to be extroverts. All of your customers are not going to be introverts. They're not going to be all of one race, religion, or gender, or whatever, right? And so what we want is diversity, not just in leadership, not just in every position in the company. We want diversity in sales. Right. And I also would put in there diversity of personalities, because if you come at me with a very red personality, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be so far out of there. In fact, if let's say I were to buy a car, And I know, it's like, well, I know that there's probably going to be some aggressive. That doesn't happen too much anymore these days, thankfully. But I'll tell you what, if I went to a car lot and I had to buy a car that way, which I wouldn't, but if I did have to,
Right.
or buying furniture or something like that, and someone came at me and they had that red personality, I would say, look, it's really important for me that I make a really great decision. I'm really going to need someone who's just a very empathic listener. Do you have someone that you might get frustrated with me, and I'm probably going to get frustrated with you if you're kind of coming on a little strong. I may have the courage to say that, maybe not, but I think if I were to be a little unfiltered, I would probably let them know, because I'm like, look, I want to have a successful transaction right here. But personality wise, you need to know who I judge. I do say that. I will let them know. It's like, look, I'm not sure if you're the right person for this. Here's what I need right now so that I can make a decision. I fully intend on, buying a bed today, for my son or whatever. Right. And so, but yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
Can I just add one more thing to this?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Just feeding off something that you said. I've had a couple of business owners say to me, you know what, Derek? You need to create something for me on how to sell to introverted personalities, because I have a hard time doing it. Because they are so outgoing and they want to get in the rush and in the action and make decisions and ask a bunch of questions and get answers, and they find themselves losing people. Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, maybe there's an idea for me too.
Great. I want to go to our next guest, Educatrix Advanced Practice Seminars. Obviously, that's not your first name. What do you do at Educatrix?
So I'm sorry, my first name is Marla.
Hi, Marla.
My name is Marla Green. I often forget to change that, but I'm going to remember when we get off the phone. So I'm a nurse practitioner. And what we do in my company is we do education, continuing education. So primarily nurse practitioners is where our target audience is. And we can also give continuing education to registered nurses and also physician assistants. But with physician assistants, it's category 2 credit.
Who are the decision makers that would be a good intro to you?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
The decision makers that would say, let's bring you in.
If it's not, nurse practitioners or, registered nurses themselves, then, of course, they're employers.
So whoever's employing nurse practitioners and PAs.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific. Good. And your website is educatrixseminars.com. So
yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Marla. I really appreciate that. Finally, Deborah, I'd love to hear what you do. Oh, let me unmute, or go ahead and unmute yourself here.
I was unmuting myself. I was starting to write a little introduction here.
You could just wing it.
I'm a practitioner of intentional gratitude. And basically what I do is help people raise their outlook. And I've been mostly focused on individuals through Facebook and Instagram, and have written a couple books, but I'd like to take this into more corporations. I'd like to talk to some HR departments and HR decision makers that would want to employ a system to help their people lift their own moods and be responsible for their own moods.
You are going to love David Lindsay is speaking. Yeah, you are going to love Deborah. David Lindsay is speaking early this afternoon, and he talks about, he's actually also one of our clients. So he does vitality in the workplace. Sabrina, I know you know David. He is bolt of lightning. He lives in the land down under, but he does vitality in the workplace. And what I know, gratitude is absolutely critical. Deborah, do you have a website or LinkedIn or some way that people?
My book and website is called NoSmallThing.net. It explains a little bit about my philosophy, also has an explanation of some samples of my writing. I've been on Amy Dix's podcast.
Great.
Another one of your speakers. And I've also been on Lynn Whitbeck's podcast.
Oh my goodness.
So
fantastic.
I have among your people.
That's terrific. Great to hear it. So yeah, just so you know, Up My Influence is a network of over 100 podcasts. They're all of our amazing clients. We are just huge on the concept of using podcasts to serve audiences, but also it is the ultimate networking tool for leaders, for professionals, for non-spammy people that love to grow their business by connecting with other amazing people. We do good in the world while we connect and do well for each other. So it is just the ultimate, like, there's just this underground movement that's taking place right now. While everyone else is squabbling out there in bro-y marketing land, we're getting stuff done and doing amazing stuff by working and connecting with one another. Again, my keynote at 1 p.m., like I'm going to break this down exactly what we do and like how we do it. And I've got some really good data, especially around, over 1,400 interviews with 6, 7, and 8-figure business leaders. And I ask them, where does your best business come from? And I've got the data. And it's very compelling. And it will probably keep you from ever doing that CEO hustle stuff ever again. You're going to be able to rise above like a true professional. And again, that's at 1 p.m. So you go to FameandProfit .com, join in on the Zoom. We're going to go to Amanda Abea's presentation. Listen, we're going to have another powerhouse female presenter, Amanda Abea. She's going to teach on the call sales skills. And then right after Amanda, we'll have just a quick break. Make sure you're in the Zoom room because I'm going to pick 3 people as well. Talk about your business. Who's a good referral for you? I want to send business your way. So make sure you get your free ticket. Come on in, join us on Zoom. But after Amanda will be Annie P. Ruggles, handling objections with empathy, which again, empathy, gratitude. You're just hearing some of these things over and over and over again. And you might not be hearing these from other, kind of bro-y marketing gurus. Because again, generally, we tend to network with folks that are just doing really, really well. So let's go to Amanda Abea. I think we have a quick word from one of our sponsors. Oh, Paperback. This guy's great. All right, well, here we are, Amanda Abea. I am so excited to introduce you to everybody, and I cannot wait to see your presentation because, Amanda, you and I have done a lot of work over the years. I'm a huge fan of what you do. I know that there's been all sorts of work back and forth, the partnerships, collaboration, and I believe strongly in your message, and I want the world to hear your message because you and I share a lot of philosophies around sales and what sales works well today. And what drives me insane from all of the gurus that are out there, they're just teaching stuff that sounds like it works, but it does not work. And boy, does it create a lot of uncomfortable situations. Amanda, your stuff absolutely works. And so I want to get right into your session. You're the founder of Persuade to Profits. We've been working together since 2014 when we were on a panel together at FinCon about how to dominate the media. But Amanda, I'm just going to turn it right over to you after this just really brief introduction here, because I want to see and hear what you have to share.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honor to be here. And it's amazing when you meet other people who really understand that sales ultimately at the end of the day is about relationships. And when I'm training, not just clients, but I've taken team members of mine from literally crying and being afraid to talk to people and not wanting to do sales, very uncomfortable, to closing sales worth thousands of dollars once they understood that it's really just about the relationship and it's really just about being a good human. So thank you for giving me a platform, because you're right. I mean, there's so much craziness and nonsense online. I have seen horrible sales scripts over the years. We've worked with over 125 clients just with sales training alone. And the stuff I've seen is really not cute. And I'm like, well, no wonder you guys don't want to do sales. So what I'll be talking about today is how to increase your sales by 30% at least without being sleazy. And I'm going to totally break down a sales call for you guys in a structure so you have a map. And I'll go in a little bit deeper into some of the areas that really are about the relationship building, because if you do that really well, then the close at the end is a lot easier. So let me just pull up the slides. All right. Trying to find present. There we go. The Zoom squares were in the way. All right. So how to close 30% more sales calls. It's the formula you need to close more sales without being sleazy. And I'm going to add without being aggressive and also without being too passive, because what you want to do is you want to get that sweet spot in the middle, which is assertive. So let's dive right in. You're in the right place if sales freaks you out, which, hello, we've all been there. I'm sure, Josh, have you ever had a time when sales freaked you out?
All the time. It should. If it's not freaking you out, are you even human?
Are you even human? Exactly, because you're opening yourself up to rejection, and everybody's had a horrible sales experience at some point in their lives, and you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person. So today you're gonna learn how to not be that person and still get the job done. It's also the right place if you feel uncomfortable having sales conversations, which is normal. And I will tell you from experience, some people, like just this morning, I was on a sales call and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so confident. Like you're leaned back, you're smiling. And I'm like, this comes from years of practice, years of practice, doing it over and over again, and also really believing in the company and the product. So one of the things I want you guys to understand off the bat is if you feel uncomfortable doing sales, sometimes it's not your sales skills. Sometimes it's the fact that maybe you're not bought on your product or you're not bought on yourself. And I want you to really understand that, because for some of you, that'll be enough to increase your sales by 30% for some of you. Right? Others of you, we got to talk a little bit more about skill, but even if you bring up that confidence level, people are already going to resonate with you and you're going to feel more comfortable in those situations. You're also in the right place if you're okay at sales, but you're getting tripped up by sales objections. Like, I can't afford it. I need to think about it. Let me go talk to my spouse. I'm going to do it later. Yada, 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 all the things that people say. And most times, at least with my audience, we mostly work with women and heart-centered entrepreneurs. They will go very passive and they will be like, oh, okay, I'll just send you all the information afterward. And, just get back to me when you're ready. That's what a lot of people do. And a lot of the scripts that I have seen, back to the really bad advice that you and I have both seen, is when they start going into aggressive, which is basically when you start fighting with the buyer and you start emotionally manipulating them. That is not something that you want to do. And I'm definitely not going to be teaching you how to do that, because it's also not effective. And even if it was, believe me, that is a client you don't want to have anyway. So if you're struggling with all of these things, you're in the right place. Our goal is to start making it make more sense for you. So here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn a sales call formula you can use to close 30% more sales without being sleazy and without emotionally manipulating people and without letting a sale go off into the ether, never to hear from this person again. So be sure to pay attention for a free gift. I sprinkle them in, right? So make sure to pay attention. And then if we have time, then perhaps we can answer a couple questions or troubleshoot. So who I am, Josh has known me for a long time, but some of you have no idea who I am. I've been a digital marketer for over 10 years now, nearly 100,000 followers on social media. I've built an email list of thousands over the years. Like Josh said, I actually started in the financial space, similar to Josh, and I built a whole business as a financial expert and freelance writer and marketer. I worked with companies like Discover, TransUnion, Capital One, many, many more. I've been in sales for 14 years. So prior to my own business, I was doing stuff like fundraising. I was giving tours. I was in recruiting. It was all sales all the time. I'm also the daughter of immigrants. That's where I get my hustle from. And I've been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, Business Insider, Inc., and many more. I'm the CEO of Make Money Your Honey, which is a sales and marketing training company. And our best-selling program is called Persuade to Profit. It's your resource for the skills that you need to actually build a prosperous business with the sales skills that are required to do so. We've had over 800 customers across all our training programs and products, and clients have improved their sales in as little as 3 days. And what I'm showing you today, the script that I'm showing you, is the exact same script I have shown them, where they're closing people in 3 days. We've had people close in 24 hours with what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So I'm not holding back, in other words. So here's, it's really important. This is a quick sales lesson because this is where people get very tripped up. It's important for you to understand where you are in a sales process. This gets very confusing for a lot of people, especially online, because everybody's always talking about funnels and things like that. And funnels are marketing and sales is more of a cycle. So they're actually two different things. And I want to make that clear because people conflate the two all the time. So what we're going to be focusing on is more of a sales cycle. This is a sales flywheel. And what we're going to be focusing on specifically today is part 3 of a sales process, which is, it goes by several names: presentation, demo, sales call, what have you. And as you can see on here, even with that one piece, there's a lot of skills that you need to understand in order to do a sales call very well. So I also want to be super transparent, and I'm sure Josh will agree with me on this. You cannot learn sales from one webinar or one training. It's not possible, right? So what I invite you to do, and I encourage you to do when we're done here, is to get as much sales training as you possibly can, because this is one of those things that just comes from years of practice. If you look at sales teams, they train like athletes, and that's when you get really, really good at it. So I'm going to do my best to break down phase number 3, but I also wanted you to be aware of the fact that there's different skill sets that you need in different parts of the sales cycle, and they require practice, someone to look over them, things like that. Because I don't want someone coming in and out, like we've had clients come to us where they've done a lot of training programs and they're like, I spent $25,000 and I still can't close any deals. And then I come to find out that they got an hour worth of sales training. And I said, that's why. Because you can't learn sales in an hour. You can learn a lot in an hour, but sales is a very hefty topic. So let's get into the first lesson. This is what you're going to learn. I want you to understand what is going on psychologically on a sales call. Because part of the reason why people are so uncomfortable is because they don't understand what's going on psychologically for you or the buyer. So that's what we're going to break down very quickly first. So here's the thing. No one is going to get on a sales presentation with you for their health or for no reason. They already want what you have, especially if they're busy people and you got them on the calendar anyway. They already want it. They already are interested in what it is that you have to say. So one of the big mistakes people make in sales, I did a live stream this morning, is they talk too much and they go into overselling because they don't realize that the person you're speaking to already wants what you have. So then they try and prove themselves by over talking and doing too much because they don't realize, hey, wait a second, I'm actually the one in control here. I'm actually the one who has more leverage here, because they wouldn't even be in this conversation this far into the process. This is part number 3 of a sales process if they weren't already interested in what I have. So that's very important. That's a big mindset shift that you guys need to make in order to get really good at sales. Speaking of which, right, as I mentioned, what I'm teaching you today is part 3 of a sales process. So that means that this prospect has been giving you buying signals along the way the whole time. If they're talking to you in the DMs, that's a buying signal. If they're commenting on your stuff, that's a buying signal. If they booked a call, it's a buying signal. So this entire relationship that you've had with them, they've been giving you signals that they're a potential buyer the whole time. So what does that mean for you in the sales situation? It means you don't have to go overboard proving yourself, or I call it being a peacock, where you're doing too much and you're showing too much because you're trying to get attention, and you're trying to. I mean, in the case of a peacock, they're trying to get a mate, but it's very similar in sales where it's like, oh, please pick me, right? Like, look how great I am, and you go over talking. So you have to understand that if they've gone this far, they've been giving you buying signals the whole time, the entire time. So go into sales calls understanding that. The next thing is you are the expert. They are actually looking for you to lead this call. So where this will come up a lot for people, and I will give examples, is they don't go in for the close. Josh, I'm sure you've seen it, right? Where they will go through this whole sales presentation and they get to the end and they don't ask for the business. And they will complain afterward and they will be like, oh man, they didn't buy, right? And I'm like, well, did you ask for the business? What do you mean? Did you go in for the close? Did you say, how would you like to make your first payment? Will that be Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? Anything like this? What is your decision today? Anything like that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, because you didn't ask for the business. They're waiting for you Very rarely are they just going to throw their credit card at you. It's a rare thing. They're waiting for you to lead the call. And the final thing I want everybody to understand before we go into the sales call, because again, this is important for framing, sales objections are a good thing. Everybody thinks they're bad. Everybody's terrified of them. They don't want to get objections. They don't want to handle the objection because they don't realize and they don't understand from a psychological standpoint, it's a good thing. First of all, right, and I'm not going to be able to explain exactly how to handle objections in this training. You can check out our Persuade to Profit training for that. But one of the things I want you to understand, two things when it comes to sales objections. Number one, the first thing that comes out of someone's mouth is very rarely the real story. Rarely what's actually going on. The second thing that you need to understand when it comes to sales objections is they're a good thing because they can tell you what is stopping the deal. And then you can fix it and get the deal done. So they actually give you a roadmap for closing. Like sometimes when you get to sales objections, people are literally serving up the close on a platter for you. They're serving it up. But because people are afraid of handling the objection because they don't want to be a super aggressive person or because they don't understand the psychology of what's going on, then they either freeze or they fight. So what I want you to understand, sales objections are good. They are your friend. You want to hear them. In fact, if you don't hear them and they get off the phone, you will never be hearing from that person ever again. Sales objections are a good thing. Okay, so that framed it. Now let's go into a quick structure of a sales call. So you guys have a roadmap. Sometimes what happens during sales presentations is there is no roadmap, there is no script, you're going all over the place. And then before you know it, the prospective client is throwing a bunch of interview questions at you and giving you the third degree. And the reason for that is because you don't have a structure where you can actually lead the call. Now, there is a caveat to this, and the caveat is everybody who's listening to this has different businesses, different personalities, different products. So what I'm giving you is a structure of principles that work no matter what, because we've worked across industries, but your job would be to customize it and figure out what it sounds like for you. You want to be able to do that because everybody's got a different business. Everybody has different strengths. We tell our clients all the time, we're going to give you the structure. We're going to help you troubleshoot it. Make it your own. Make it your own, because when you make it your own, you actually become a better closer. All right, because you're more authentic. It's not you. I'm sure some of you have had calls where like you literally feel like someone's reading off a script or a teleprompter. We don't want to do that. So full permission to make this your own so long as the principles are there. So the first thing you want to do on the first half of a call is called a pre-close intention. This is super important because oftentimes people will try to avoid making decisions at the end of the call. So this is how you make sure you don't do that. And I will give an example of what it sounds like. Again, make it your own. Josh. Hey, Josh, thank you so much for giving me your time today. The reason we're having this conversation is because we were chatting in the DMs, and you mentioned that you were having some trouble with closing people on sales calls. So based on that conversation, I have a pretty good idea of where this call is going to go. So I have some more questions so I can get some more context from you. And if we can help you, I'm going to tell you how, and then I'm just going to need a decision, yes or no, on whether we're moving forward. Is that cool with you?
Cool with me. Sure. Yeah. That's why I'm here.
Exactly. Right. Josh, can you guess why I still ask anyway?
See, I wouldn't be on the call if I wasn't open to that. But again, it's yeah.
But can you guess why I still ask the question?
Well, yeah, it is because I mean, well, what I like about it too is that, you know, you're leading in a very ethical way. I have never had this. We'll just pretend I've never had this conversation with you. I don't know what's going to happen. And if I want to feel like there's some direction to where we're going. You do this all the time. So because you're kind of showing the way, that's cool. Like now I feel like I know where we're going. And I also, you've told me like, we're going to either agree together that this makes sense or it's not. So, you know, I still feel like I've got some control.
And I still ask for your permission.
Yes, right. Yes. And so, yeah, you're not being pushy.
Exactly. So from there, what you want to do is you want to figure out the why. And honestly, if you guys do the first half of a call really well, the second half will be a lot easier. There will be less objections to deal with. There will be less hard closes if you do the first half really well. So the second part is to figure out why. Why are they talking to you, not your competitors? and why now? Why are we having this discussion now? Why not 3 weeks ago? Why not 6 months from now? What is going on now that we are having this discussion? And the reason you want to find that out is because you want to find out what the urgency is. There's a reason why they booked it when they did. And there's a reason why they booked it with you. So not only is it great for marketing, I always tell people sales calls are a gold mine for marketing content, but it's also great for closing later, because you're going to find out why this matters so much to them, because there's a reason why it matters. And then if you do a really good job later on of showing them how we're going to fix the problem and how it relates to their reason, they're going to more easily close. And this is an area where a lot of people miss out on the sales, is they don't go deep enough to figure out why the person wants this problem fixed. So from there, what you want to do, I call it probing questions. And basically this is getting to the nitty gritty of what is going on. And this is so that you know to pitch the right product. Because Josh, would you like to guess why half of sales are missed?
Why have it? Well, because we don't ask we're not asking the right questions.
That's true, right? But half of sales are missed because people pitch the wrong product.
Oh, right. Because if you're just pushing, you haven't asked good questions, like it's just weird. It's uncomfortable. Like, you don't know me if you haven't figured that out. So I like that. Being prescriptive is how I refer to it.
Be prescriptive. So I always give relationship coaches as an example, because people are like, well, that's great for money. Okay, let me give you a relationship coach example. So let's say one of our clients now, this is literally her. One of our clients helps people, get higher quality dates and, potentially find their marriage partner. So when I was teaching her this, I was like, all right, you got to have a series of questions, because the buyer is going to be like, yeah, I'm going on all these dates and nothing's happening. Okay, well, that's what they think. But that may not be a reality of what's going on. So you could be like, great, how many dates are you going on every week? Oh, maybe I'm going on 1 a month. Okay, then they're not on enough dates. And then maybe what that means is later on you pitch a product that is for helping them get the dates, because that's like the main issue that they're having right now, to get to the eventual result of you're going to find your partner. So that's how deep you want to go. And when you're doing this, it's not just for you to be able to pitch a product, close a sale. Yes, it's going to help you do all of that. But oftentimes the buyer also gets a lot more clarity about what's going on as well, because they don't know. They know that they have a problem. That's why they're talking to you. But oftentimes they think that they're doing way better than they actually are. Or they're not quite sure how to fix the particular problem, or they may have problems that they're not even aware of to get to the resolution that they're looking for. So it's not just for you, it's also for them. And this is where that service piece comes into play, because if you're not doing this from the right mindset, it'll sound like you're trying to manipulate people, right? To just get information out of them in order to close. So the mindset's really important, and you have to realize that it's also serving them, because they're getting clarity on what's going on, because they don't know, right? They might think that they know, but they don't actually know. In my business, where this comes up a lot is where they're like, I might be asking, what's your biggest issue? Is it, booking more sales calls, or what to say on the sales calls? And they'll be like, well, what to say on the sales calls? And I'll be like, great, well, how many sales calls are you having every week? And they'll be like, well, I'm having like 2 a month. Okay, what to say on the sales call is not the problem. Not yet. Getting enough sales calls is problem number 1 that we need to solve. So that would be an example of them not having clarity and how it serves them, because now they know what it is that they have to fix in order to get to their desired results. So if you want an example of good probing questions, I actually put them together in a free sales script for you guys. This script is more for the front end of the sales cycle when you're just getting to know people, but it works really, really well. We've had people increase their sales call bookings by 600%. in 30 days just using this free script. So it's on the screen for you guys to grab it. So now let's get into the second half of the call. If you've done the first half really well, this part's going to be super easy. So the second half of the call is when you're presenting the offer. And remember, when you're presenting the offer, you want to use the information you were getting from the probing questions. So one area where people really screw this up is they'll start selling based on logistics and not benefits. So let me explain the difference. Selling on logistics is like, well, it's a coaching program and it's this many calls and we get together once a week and you're going to get all these videos. No one cares. What they care about is how it's going to solve the problem. So going back to the dating coach example, I might present an offer like this. You know what? You told me it sounds like you're a really great fit for our dating for marriage program, where we're going to help you get higher quality dates in as little as 3 weeks so you can get closer to your desired result of meeting your husband. So what I did there is I really addressed the specific problem. I gave it a time frame on how we're actually going to fix this, and then I related it back to why it's so important to them. They want to get married, they want to find their husband. So that would be just very quick example. There's a lot more that goes into presenting the offer, but if I were to do it in one sentence, that's it. It's very rarely one sentence, but if I were to put it into one, that's it. And the thing is, if you do that part really well, they're already asking you questions anyway. They're already like, well, I want in, like, how much does it cost? Like, what are the logistics? I did a live stream on this earlier today. My team, what I did with them is they're basically products of our product. They're walking billboards, basically. So this is also a very important sales thing. If it is possible, be a product of your product. If that's not possible because you have a physical product, then I always give the example of cars. If you're selling a BMW, don't be walking around in a Honda Polo. Doesn't make any sense. Right? So if you have physical products, it's a little bit different. Maybe if it's a branding thing, if it's something like coaching or consulting, be a product of the product. Because when you're able to do that, like my team is, people naturally start asking them questions. They don't even have to have an uncomfortable conversation about price or being like, okay, well, it's $10,000 silence. Like, it doesn't even have to happen, because if you're a product of the product and you've done the first half very well, they're already asking you all the questions anyway. Josh, have you had that happen?
Yes, frequently.
Frequently, all the time. They will naturally start to ask, and then you don't even need to have a super uncomfortable conversation. And it doesn't even need to get that complicated, and it doesn't need to get that hard. So at that point, we still got to talk about closing, and closing is what I was talking about earlier, which is asking for the business, right? It's like, will that be Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? How would you like to make your first payment? Are we getting started today? Have you heard enough to make a decision? Have you seen enough to make a decision? These are all closes. These are all different ways to say the same thing, which is like, pay me. Let's get going and pay me. So very important, because a lot of people leave that out. And that's the part that actually, gets the swipe. This is where salespeople are made. Now, what happens, you might get objections, you might not, right? Sometimes people are like, yeah, cool, ready to go. Let's do it. And then you just get it done. More often than not, there will be objections, because there's a lot going on psychologically for them as well. Everybody's got their own stuff about money. There's 3 people who came before you that burned them. They're feeling uncomfortable making a decision like this. There's so many things going on in their heads. And Josh, I'm sure you can vouch for this. Like, when it comes to money, people get weird.
Yeah. It's like, yes. I want it. And then we get to the money thing and they're like, oh, money.
Yeah. Oh my God, this just got real. I have to make a decision, and people oftentimes don't trust themselves to make decisions. There's a lot going on for them psychologically in their own heads in this moment. And that's why it's so important for you to be a leader in this situation. Now, we don't have time to go into how to handle the objections on this training today, but what I want you to understand is this: whatever comes out of their mouth, agree with them. Just agree with them. That's really expensive. I agree. It's super expensive. Our clients say that all the time. Oh, I can't afford it. I hear you. You can't afford it. I really need to think about it. Totally understand. Actually, I'll teach you. I need to think about it, because it has to do with the first thing I taught. But, can you send me more information so I can think about it? Absolutely. I will send you all the information that you want. Totally understand that you need to think about it and you don't make rash decisions. But let me remind you, 20 minutes ago, you agreed that we would be making a decision today. And if it's no, it's totally cool if it's a no. So is it yes or no? And the reason you do that is because you can work with a no and find out what's going on. You cannot work with, I need to think about it. It doesn't mean anything. And on top of that, they've been thinking about it, or they wouldn't have gone this far in the sales process. So then with I need to think about it, you know, it's always BS, like complete BS. And then that's how you would handle that one, to find the real objection. The real objection, they could be telling you, I can't afford it, but that's really not it. I've had people tell me they can't afford it, and then I do my due diligence and I find out they're sitting on 150 grand. So what's important to understand is that in this part of the sales conversation, humans act very strange. They will lie through their teeth. They will manipulate, because it's what we've been taught since kids, to manipulate to get out of uncomfortable situations. And they will get uncomfortable, and your job is to not get emotional, let them have their moment, and help them make a good decision for themselves. So in this part, I just want to say this very briefly. You need to understand the difference between influence and manipulation. And I think that's very important to understand. When you're influencing or persuading someone, you never compromise someone's ability to make a decision. You never, like, they can always say no. It's always a choice. When you're manipulating people, and sometimes what this sounds like on sales calls is when you're using their weaknesses against them to compromise their ability to make a decision. If you're at live events, sometimes it's environments where people are exhausted and they're not thinking clearly, and emotional highs and stuff like that. But in sales calls, really, usually it looks like twisting the knife, using their weaknesses against them. That is not what you want to do in objection handling. In objection handling, you just agree with everything that they say. You empathize, you know that they're probably lying, and then you ask the good questions to find out what the real objection is, so we can get to a resolution to the issue. And sometimes when I say this, people get upset because they're like, I don't like it that they lie. And you just have to understand this is what humans do. Like, don't judge them, because you've done it too. You've done it too on a sales call. You've lied and said that you needed to talk to your spouse when you didn't. So don't judge them for the same things that you've done as a buyer, and just understand that this is a part of the process and that there is a way to properly handle this. So once again, if you want some examples of what these scripts look like to do it from a relationship basis, then the information is on the screen on how to get it. And I hope that you guys found this really helpful, because sometimes when we get this far in the sales process, like this is when our stuff starts to come up. And our stuff starts to come up because we're afraid of rejection. We're about to ask for money. They've got all their stuff coming into the sales call. And oftentimes what happens is people lose control. So my goal with what I taught you today is how to stay in control of the sales call. And if you stay in control, you will naturally start seeing increases in your closes.
Awesome. All right. Round of applause for Amanda. And Amanda, I understand for our VIP folks, you've got some other opportunities. Is that right?
Yeah, so for the VIP folks, we actually can give more sales scripts to you guys. So what we'll do is we'll give you access to our vault of sales scripts. So Josh will have the information on how we can get that for you guys. Mm-hmm. So those of you who watched this one, you're going to get one sales script. The VIP guys, you're going to get all the sales scripts.
Mm-hmm. So really, really simple. You'll see the upgrade button. Just click that and it'll take you to a different video view page. And that's where all the links will be. All right, Amanda, thank you so much for this. Hey, can I ask you just one kind of question here? Yeah. What happens, if someone, because again, we do need to lead in the conversation. And if somebody says, I want this, it's our moral obligation then to say, oh, well, I hear this all the time. That's what other people have this problem. I help them get that thing. And here's how you get that thing. And so, we've already established that early in the conversation. So then in case anyone heard some of the quote unquote objection handling and he said, but that sounds salesy to me. It's like, no, right. Do you want to address that really quick? Like if someone feels like, well, what you said in objection handling felt salesy. So, and I want to preface that person might feel like anything other than, oh, okay, you just go ahead and think about it and we'll keep in touch and we'll see. Yeah. And if you listen, if you do that, like, yes, I understand how that might feel comfortable for you to be very, very passive. That's not your role as a leader here, but I'll let you take the rest.
Yeah, so the important thing is to understand the difference between passive, assertive, and aggressive. So I actually learned about this back in my freelance writing days. I think I was writing an article for Mind Valley. I was ghostwriting for them, and that's how I stumbled across this. And I was like, wait a minute, this is gold. And then when I became a sales trainer, I remembered this. So it's understanding the difference between being passive, assertive, and aggressive. So people who thought that was salesy, it's exactly what you said. They probably have a tendency of being more passive. So what that means, let me break it down, right? When you are, and people who are more on the passive side, they're afraid of coming off as aggressive because they confuse assertive with aggressive. So let me break this down, and then I'll explain what it sounds like on a sales call as well, so people can understand. And by the way, this is just a lesson for life. What I'm about to show you, like sales, non-sales, teams, spouses, like it works for everything. So when you're passive, it means that you value yourself less than this person you are speaking to. If you are aggressive, it means that you value yourself more than the person you are speaking to. When you are being assertive, it means you value everybody at the table equally. So let me break down what passive, assertive, and aggressive sound like on a sales call. Passive is exactly what you just said. Passive is like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's totally fine. I'll send you everything and you just get back to me when you're ready. Or, you know, this is our price, but for you, I'll do it for half. That's passive. It's never going to work. People are going to walk all over you. Walk all over you. You'll never hear from them again. Aggressive, actually aggressive, I've had experiences where people were very aggressive with me, where they wouldn't even listen to me and what my needs were. So if they're aggressive, you're being aggressive from the beginning. They weren't even listening to me, what my needs were. This was a very interesting situation where they were like, well, I don't think we're a good fit to work together. And I said, I agree. I don't think we're a good fit to work together. And they got mad.
Yeah.
People get in their feelings. When they get aggressive, they get in their feelings. That's what's going on. So when you're passive, you're like avoiding the feelings. And when you're aggressive, you've gone overboard into your own feelings and you feel personally rejected. And then you start trying to prove yourself and be like, well, this was literally said to me. Well, I mean, you just don't understand what we do. And we only work with these kinds of people and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you literally just broke every rule of sales and you run a sales agency. So this is not looking good right now. That was from a sales agency. So it looks like people getting aggressive and emotional. We've had clients that because of their backgrounds and things, like it's almost like you want to fight people, like you want to verbally fight people. That's what aggressive is. Or aggressive is like, well, are you going to let $4,000 stand in the way of your dreams? You know, that's aggressive. Or I've heard people go as far as like, well, you know, the universe put you in front of me. I know that one really irritates you, Josh. The universe put you in front. God put you here, right? God put your mom's credit card over there for you to use. Like that is aggressive. Yeah, I've heard that. We've heard those stories.
That makes me want to come out punching.
Yeah, we've heard that from our clients that's been used on them. Yeah, that's aggressive. That is aggressive, right? What I taught you how to do is just being assertive. We made an agreement. You're backing down on the agreement. Let's solve the problem. That's it. That's all it is. Doesn't have to be emotional. Doesn't have to be weird. Doesn't have to be anything. And notice how I said it's okay if the answer is no. I didn't make them feel wrong if it's no. You never want to do that. It's okay if it's no. Let's just get to a resolution.
Yeah, and I think it's very respectful to do that, right? If they have considerations that they can take care of before they lay down the payment or whatever, we'll work with them on that. But it's being respectful of their time, because what you don't want to do is like, listen, if it's a no, I just respect your time and I respect my time. I don't want to run around chasing you and stuff if that's just going to be weird. Just either way. Does it make sense for us to have another date? Yes or no? If this isn't going well, please just tell me. Like it's okay. I'm a big boy. I'm a big girl. Like, right? We can handle that.
And you know what? Buyers appreciate that, because I've had people tell me no, and then I'll be like, great, for my own feedback, why is it a no? Can I use that to close them? Of course. Right. But at the same time, because I know the first thing they're saying is probably not the truth, but It's all, but people appreciate it because like what they're used to the person who may be concerned about that, what people are used to is people being very aggressive and manipulative with them. So if you're just honest with them and you're straight up and you're non-BS, I had one tell me this morning, I love how non-BS you are. You just put like the BS to the side. People appreciate that. You're being honest with them. And when you're being passive and you're being people pleasing, it's still very manipulative. It's just covert. It's still manipulation. So whereas the aggression is overtly manipulative, the passive people pleasing is covertly manipulative because you're being nice in the hopes that they're going to pay you, and then you get mad when they don't.
Awesome. Amanda, Bea, thank you so much for all this. Again, VIP members, make sure you grab all the downloads. Again, Amanda, thank you so much for this amazing session.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let me get unmuted, and let me also unmute everybody here. Yeah, now you can unmute yourself. Hey, Allison, Arthur, Catherine, good to see you. There's that morning coffee. I like that. We have just a few minutes here. Again, coming up is Annie Ruggles, who's going to talk about objection handling. Is this stuff valuable, like from a sales perspective? Again, just, between Lynn, Amanda, and Annie, like this is the trifecta for like just true sales empowerment and being who we need to be in that moment so that we can be of best service. And again, in our role of sales, like we can be true to who we are, but we do need to be the leader because this is scary. Sales, buying is new. Like, people just want to be assured that they're making the right, because we don't want to make bad decisions. That's the greatest fear. It's like, oh, I don't want to make a mistake here. And so, we want to make sure that we're just working with people in a way that's very honoring. So, listen, I want to I'll give just a minute to our people that are on Zoom. This is really easy. If you're watching on the live stream, come on over to Fame and Profit. This is our last morning session as we bring on Annie here. Then we're going to have our VIP mixer at 12 noon from 12 to 1 Eastern time. And then at 1 p.m., come on Zoom. Make sure you've got the Zoom link. You can get that at Fame and Profit because I'm going to be doing my keynote. We're going to start off with a quick, we're going to give 4 people like 3 to 4 minutes apiece. And I'm going to have them talk about how they've created essentially unlimited, and I literally mean like unlimited sales conversations for themselves, like what they've done, like how they've led using platform and generosity to just make sales just easy and automatic. No more chasing, no more hunting people down, no more sliding into DMs and being salesy, spammy. So they're going to share exactly what they do and what works. And then I will go into my keynote where I'm going to share all my data. So again, that's it. That'll be at 1 p.m. So make sure you grab the Zoom link, which is going to be a different Zoom link than the one we're on right now. So apologize for that. And that'll be for all of our afternoon sessions starting at 1 p.m. All right, Catherine Davies, can you tell us maybe a little bit about what you do? And by the way, if you're on Zoom, you get free advertising to the world. We're broadcasting this to over 100,000 people on the socials right now, across my Twitter and LinkedIn and the Facebooks and all that other stuff. So yeah, Catherine, can you tell us just a little bit about Life's Emergency Training and what the morning coffee is?
Well, hopefully 80,000 of them are in Canada. I'm Catherine Davies from Hamilton, Ontario. Life's Emergency Training is a first aid, CPR, and AED training company that it trains the trainer and licenses trainers to train within their own company. And we are only authorized in Ontario to do that. And,
all right.
Yeah, and then our other my other group is I'm part of what's called This Great City, and it is a network for business referrals. We always say that there's no business like referral business. So it was really great to hear this morning.
Isn't that the truth? Imagine this scenario. And I just love illustrating this for people. Okay, what would it be like if you were in a position, let's say you're a local realtor. I got my friend Nathan who's watching us, I know. Imagine that you're in a situation that you've invested and you have meaningful personal relationships with over 200 local centers of influence. Who's a center of influence today? Everyone. Everyone today is a center of influence, which is why, just one more reason, you treat everybody at all times. I don't care if they're the doorman, dog catcher, garbage man, whatever, that you always treat everybody with respect and love. Always. Everybody's got social media. Everybody's got a camera. Everybody can tell the world all about you. You cannot get away with bad behavior, salespeople today and others. And that's great. It's the democratization, for good or bad, of information. But imagine this. You're in a position where you have 200 centers of influence that, when asked, we're thinking about selling our home. I think the values are blah, 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 blah. Like, who do you know? Like, who's good? Oh my gosh. You need to talk with Nathan. You need to go talk with Allison. You need to get, and in that situation, like, everyone is just doing all of your work for you, which is, again, one of the reasons why it has been 2 weeks shy of Up My Influence, my company, being 100% inbound. And I get to talk with 40 or more of my dream customers every single month. And it is just a dream scenario because I don't have to do the CEO hustle stuff. I don't have to be, I got to hang out in Clubhouse because, there might be that one customer there. Like, I don't have to do that stuff, right? All I have to do is, I don't have to advertise. Advertising is the tax you pay for being unremarkable. That's the founder of Geek Squad who said that. Instead, I just get to focus on being intentional, listening, serving, and talking and truly investing into great relationships. And again, if you're like, ooh, man, I like the sound of that, 1 o'clock, I'm gonna break it all down. So anyway, one more person, and I got to get to Annie. We got 2 minutes, and I got to start Annie's presentation, Elisa, so we can hit our clock, right? So Elisa, my chief operating officer, is watching me closely. Allison, love to hear real briefly, if you want, what you do. Got about 60 seconds, please.
You did speak to me yesterday.
That's okay.
Dog groomer and pet sitter in the UK. So yeah.
Oh, terrific, terrific. Can we send business your way? My Levi would be a long trip from Orlando. So
yeah. Well, unless you want to pay for me to come over there and sit for you when you go on holidays. I mean,
yeah, not that wouldn't be a bad gig for you. That's great. Do you have a website or social media?
I did put them in the chat earlier. So yeah.
Oh, terrific. Good deal. Well, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Elisa, anything else that we need to announce before we go to Annie's amazing? And I'll tell you what, if you, Annie she's going to grab your attention. I love her energy.
Facebook group.
Oh yeah. Go find our Facebook group. We have a pop-up group just for this event right now. If you just search for Fame and Profit, I think you'll find it. Or it's group/Up My Influence. We just kind of changed the name of our Facebook group. Love to have you there. Let's network. Let's connect. Tell us who you're looking for. Tell us who your ideal customers are. We'll see if we can't get some connections made for you.
Because even if you can't connect with some of the speakers here, you can definitely connect with them in our Facebook group.
Yeah, nearly all of them are in that Facebook group. And so, and I can tell you, every one of our speakers are just amazing, generous, awesome, collaborative leaders. All of them are also very successful at what they do. So great. Thank you so much, Elisa. Let's get to our final morning presentation. This is Annie Ruggles. We might start off here with a quick word from one of our sponsors. I don't know. It'll be a surprise for both you and I. Here we go. Okay, so this session that you're about to watch right now, as I started thinking about if there were just like, what are the things that I am so passionate about that really drove me to organize this event? And, one of the biggest things that when I see it, I'm like, I have to do something about this. Annie P. Ruggles, you are our featured speaker for this session. And if there's one session that I just in my heart space, I really want to be able to change hearts and minds and thinking about, differently. That's how sales is thought of, how sales is practiced, how business leaders and owners and professionals think about their clients and think about how they're going to create revenue. And Annie, what you teach is just so core to this whole 3-day event. There are a few sessions to our observers here, our attendees. You'll see most of them I'm just kind of in at the beginning, kind of giving a great introduction. And there are a few where I have asked, would you mind if I kind of sat on the side of the stage? and because I really hope that there may be an opportunity where it would be appropriate for maybe us to have just a little bit of dialogue. And as Annie and I were talking about this presentation, this is one of those presentations where I'm like, Annie, I promise to be Paul Schaefer to your David Letterman. So I'm just going to be quietly over here, but I'll tell you what, if there's an opportunity for us to dialogue, I'm here for you. So Annie, listen, I'm going to give the microphone to you. I am so excited for you to share what you're about to share. And I'm so excited for the impact that we're going to have for the person that's watching this right now.
I mean, heck yes. What an introduction. Thank you, Josh. Listen, y'all, here's the first thing I need you to know about me. My name is Annie P. Ruggles. Sure, you know that. That's the first thing. But no, the first thing I want you to know about me is that if you have ever felt nasty about how you've been taught to sell or the strategies that you have cobbled together in getting yourself to this point of business growth, you are not alone. You are not alone. Every single friggin' day, I spend all day with people just like us who are mission driven, relationship focused, and value led, who feel like they have to polish up their baby, their purpose, their passion, their mission with a bunch of nasty tactics and arm twisting in order to make their business profitable. No more. No more. So now that we've established that, let's look at who the heck I am and why Josh has chosen me to talk to you about handling objections with empathy. Before we talk about now, founder of the Non-Sleazy Sales Academy, host of Too Legitimate to Quit, very proud to be considered an expert in relationship building and ethical sales. That's 2022, 2023. That's current. Okay, y'all, I need you to go back in the way back time machine with me to 2011 to 2008 when 2011 to 2018, when this adorable munchkin was one of the most sought after branding strategists on the block, but was completely freaking broke. Everyone around me had beautiful, shiny brands we were all proud of. Everyone around me had elaborate, gorgeous launch plans and marketing. And no one around me was making any dang money. So I thought, you hear it once, maybe it's a problem. You hear it twice, maybe it's definitely a problem. You hear it 3 times, maybe you are the problem. I started thinking, oh no. What if my clients are picking up on my secret that I am afraid to sell? I am hoping this whole time that if I just deliver and deliver and deliver and deliver, that they will willingly reach into their wallet and hurl money at me. And folks, that's not how it works. So I knew I wasn't planning on teaching sales then. I was happy in marketing and branding, but I knew that if people around me were going to compete and if my own business was going to survive, I had to learn how to love selling for me and then empower them. So what did I do? In late 2019 in late 2018, all the way through 2019, I read 138 sales books in a row. I read no fiction. I read no magazines. I read the good, the great, the bad, the ugly, and the, oh my gosh, I can't believe someone printed this. My husband likes to joke that by the time the pandemic hit in 2020, I had nothing left to read. But all along, I was searching for the secret to helping me love selling. And you know what? Book after book after book told me, y'all? The secret to successful selling is to learn empathy. To learn empathy. And I found this completely hilarious because everyone around me had so much empathy. We're practically human sponges. We love our clients more than ourselves some days. We are over deliverers. So if the secret to successful selling is to learn empathy, then those of us who are naturally empathic should all be bajillionaires, right? And every strategy we see in selling should be 100% in integrity, ethics, values, and style, right? If the secret to successful selling is to learn empathy, everyone around me should have been killing it. And yet, that's not what I found when I started looking at sales from a different angle. What I found was a lot more like this guy. Does anybody remember this butthead from 2005? Oh my gosh, this jerk face. Okay. For those of you who don't remember or were happily in a relationship in 2005, yay, let me break that down for you. This is a guy named Mystery, one named Mystery, kind of like Cher. And he had a show on VH1 called The Pickup Artist in 2005 and 2006, which caused a great big fervor because although he could deny being one who fosters violence against women or just an out and out misogynist, what he would teach largely men in his sphere to do is to counteract their perceived lack of game, air quotes game, by making the woman, the object of their affection or attention, not really affection, feel worse and less secure than they did. In a nutshell, his theory was the more pathetic you make them feel, the faster they will settle for you. Now, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, that is completely disgusting. It is. And I was single in 2005, and I would hear things like, wow, you're pretty smart for a fat girl. I never anticipated that would show up in sales, though, and you probably don't either. But then why? Why? When I listened to sales calls in 2022, 16 years after this jerk was voted off of television and his counterpart was permanently kicked out of Australia, why am I still hearing good, heart-centered, value-driven, relationship-focused people say junk like this? Oh, your hesitation is just a mindset issue. You don't have a payment block. That's a limiting belief. You could totally find the money, Annie, if you just stop getting your hair done. That red is not your natural hair color. I know that probably costs you about $300 a month. Why don't you just stop doing your hair, learn to be confident, and sign up for my program? If you really, really wanted this, you would trust yourself and put it on a credit card. You not investing today is showing me that you're not as ready as you think you could be. But I know you are. So call out that credit card. Without my help, you'll stay this way forever. That pain point's going to keep on paining. It's me or nothing, baby. This is your last chance. And you don't need to talk to your husband, your wife, your spouse, your partner, your mother, your dog, whoever. That's weak. That's the one I get that really makes me angriest, personally. I'm a nightmare to sell to in general because I'll tell you all the good stuff and the bad stuff you do in real time. I'll be like, ooh, excellent use of cost per engagement. Ooh, I'm a jerk. However, if you say you don't need to talk to your husband first, Annie, that is, you're an independent woman and a 6-figure business owner. Hell yes, I am. And I need a sounding board. Hell yes, I am. And I need support. Y'all, I have heard each of these things come out of beautiful mouths so many times. It makes me angry. And it should make you angry too. This BS has no role in our business. Again, it may have gotten us to this point, but it stops now. Today, we are going to learn how to harness the empathy you already have, not learned, the empathy you already have to counteract this ridiculousness. Today, I challenge and empower you to bring that empathy back. Let's go. Now, before we do, I need you to just accept 3 things. I'm going to show you a lot of evidence today. I'm going to walk you through step by painstaking step how to get through all 5 of the biggest objections that you will run into. Okay? But in order to do that, your end of the bargain is I need you to accept and commit to 3 critical truths. Just 3. In exchange for all I'm going to give you, I'm just going to ask for these 3. Critical reminder number 1, none of this will work. None of this will work if you go into the sales call or selling situation assuming you will hear a no. The client can always smell fear. They're like dogs. And your insecurity may very well transfer to them. Going into a selling situation, assuming you're going to get a no, is like going to a grocery store when you're starving. Everything sounds amazing, but nothing feels right. You get lost in indecision. You stop paying attention. The hunger supersedes all. You come off as desperate before you even try, y'all. When you assume the no, you will discover objections everywhere that are likely figments of your imagination and your own discomfort projected. So I need you to promise me you will go into these selling situations embracing the possibility of a yes as just as probable, if not more so, than a not now, a maybe, or a no. Critical reminder number 2. Your only job on a sales call is to listen and prescribe. It is not to babble. It is not to convince. It is not to even get them to see things from your point of view. Your only job on a selling situation is to listen to their pain points, listen to their goals, and decide if you are a good fit. And how do we do this? We are going to use their details, not your pre-canned spiel. How many of us have been on a sales call recently, even one we were excited about, even one that was told was going to be a discovery call, a sample sesh, name it what you will. How many of us have gone into that call with enthusiasm, and yet when we sit down, it's like getting on a roller coaster. We put that lap bar down because we know the second they hit record, the person that we're talking to is going to become a completely different human, stop listening to you completely, and just word vomit all over you. That is 85% of sales calls right there. Sit down, shut up, and let me tell you why I'm right for you. No, no, no. Not in my orbit. Certainly not in Josh's. And if you are here for fame and profit, honey, this is a great way to get a one-time sale. Is to word vomit on someone. But we are looking for lifetime value. We don't get fame and we don't get profit unless we're owning lifetime value. How do we own lifetime value? We have people feel seen, safe, supported, and heard right from the jump. The last thing I need you to accept today is that self-forgiveness is freaking mandatory. If you have, there are going to be things today that come up that I'm going to say, do not do, do not do, do not do. And I know the ethics, the integrity, the imposter syndrome in you is going to flare up and go, I knew it. I'm terrible. No wonder. Oh gosh, I should just write a bad business, better business review of myself. Shut down my Google. No, y'all. Self-forgiveness is mandatory. Like we said, you did what you had to do on those sales calls to get to your current point of business. If you hear that you have done things that are on my strict don't list today, self-forgiveness is the key. Remember, you did not practice those objections badly out of greed or laziness. If you did, you sure as hell wouldn't be sitting here with me and Josh, arguably the muppetiest people in marketing and sales, on something called the Fame and Profit Summit. You would not, okay? Somewhere, somehow, up your mentorship chain, who knows how many degrees? It's almost the epigenetics of sales. Somewhere in your upline, somebody decided to act with greed or laziness. We don't know which. It doesn't really matter. That was their decision, not your decision. Your decision is to start fresh now. All right, rant over. Let's get to work. An objection, y'all, it's just not what you've been told. When you hear about objections, when people tackle objections, the main things I hear is it's not about money, that is a convenient excuse. Or back to the whole, it's a mindset issue. Y'all, everything I do has a mindset component and a strategy component. But to take someone's pain and concern and lump it all in to them not thinking they're good enough is not good enough for you. Okay? Objections are not just convenient excuses. What if they really don't have the money? Most of the time, when they think that they don't, they don't. So how do we handle that? I am so tired of people saying it's never about the money. If they tell you it's about the money, can't we just assume it's about the money and handle that proactively? Another thing is, an objection is not a red flag of a failing sale. I have heard in so many sales calls, people get their first objection and they just quit. You know what? We're not a fit. Thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it. I can see I'm not right for you. You know what? My ideal clients really don't ask that question anymore. So why don't you come back to me when you're feeling a little bit more ready? You know what? I see that we're not going to see eye to eye. So let me give you a list of my competitors. Yo! We are so hopeful for the quick yes that almost never occurs, that any moment of hesitation in them may signal to our stressed out, desperate brains, abort, abandon ship. No. If anything, an objection is the chance to double down. It is a beacon. It is a beacon that confusion, hesitation, or fear exists in the heart and mind of your prospect. And as such, knowing that they are in pain, knowing that they are confusion, knowing that they are in doubt, it is an opportunity for you to meet them where they are and deepen your connection toward handling that pain. If we don't do this, we leave them in discomfort and we leave them, period. If we do this, we get down into the muck of discomfort with them and help them get themselves out, which also proves that we are the expert we say we are, that we are solving the problems that we promise that we will. What better way to demonstrate that than to proactively, positively, and passionately handle someone's hesitations? That means no more invalidating, no more arm twisting, no more relying on fake urgency or fake scarcity. Leave your tripwires in the car. If it's not going to solve the problem, it is not relevant here. Simply put, the art of handling objections with empathy is no more arguing. No more arguing. None. It really is that simple. If you find yourself in a conversation, if you find yourself with a prospect and you feel the need to convince them that they are wrong, to convince them that they are incomplete, to convince them that, they are dependent on you, to convince them that all other competitors are wrong, if you find the need to do any of that, that is laziness speaking. Protective laziness, sure. But that's all it is, because it sure as hell isn't greed in people watching this summit. No more arguing. If you find yourself feeling the need to prove your point, act like a lawyer instead. A lawyer, a good lawyer, cannot go to court and just argue away the other side. How would they do that? They haven't even heard the other side if they're only waiting to give their closing statements and to interrogate their witnesses. They will have no counter argument. None. If you're only arguing that the other side is wrong, you're not convincing the jury that you are, in fact, right. And they are too. You can be right together. You can be right as a team. So now, without further ado, we are going to go painstakingly through the big 5 objections with this seemingly clunky, but actually quite simple 7-step process. Again, a lot of this is going to feel more intuitive, and a lot of it is all that idea of not arguing. So if you find yourself getting a little lost, slow down and remember, we're there to listen, we're there to prescribe, we're there to heal, and we're there to get them moving. That's it. No argument, no arm twist. All right. How do we do this? In every single objection, there are the big 5 that we're going to go through today, but there are also totally specialized objections that I can't even freaking predict about you. Okay? I don't know your business. I don't know your business. I don't know what you're selling. I don't know if you have to deal with gluten allergies, the ghosts of dead grandmothers who don't want to participate, or, a spouse that doesn't support you. I don't know what your objections are going to be other than those big 5. So I encourage you, as I walk you through this process, be thinking about what specific hangups separate someone from the power of my work. What specific hangups separate someone from the power of my work? That's the lens. Now here's the process. These 7 steps of a beautifully, ethically, empathetically handled objection. Number 1, practice, practice, practice active listening. Now, we talked about this before in the listening portion, but what do I actually mean by listening? Like I said, you are supposed to sit there and absorb so that you can regurgitate. If you don't know what they're feeling because you talked the whole time, you can't say the Annie phrase that pays. The number 1 phrase that has made me money in my business is this phrase. Y'all write it down. Oh, there's my Chicago accent. Did you hear that? Y'all write it down. Write it down, y'all. Write it down. Based on what you just told me. Based on what you just told me. If I'm not listening, I don't know what they just told me. No, I don't. So I'm going to practice active listening. Now, why do I have practice? Y'all, as a strategist, let me tell you, it is so freaking hard to shut down solution brain sometimes. Right? I'm going to be here. Somebody's going to be telling me their pain point. I immediately, as the freaking Care Bear I am, are going to be like, I can fix it. Yeah, let's get in there. Okay, here's what you got to do. I got a 7-step plan. That's rushing to solutions. That's not active listening. Bite your tongue. Continue to refocus. Right? When I learned to meditate years ago, I did this really intense form of silent meditation, and really just silent, brain as clear as you can get it. And they related it to oranges on a conveyor belt when you have an intrusive thought. Oranges on a conveyor belt going out to be sold. Okay? I must be hungry. I'm using lots of food examples today. Or oranges on the conveyor belt. The stampy sticker, that is the brand, has to come down on the orange. If you go, oh no, I'm over strategizing, slow down, pay attention, blah, you just missed even more opportunity to listen. The orange is ruined, right? If you don't acknowledge, though, that you're thinking and you just keep forcing yourself to do it, then that orange is going to skate away unnoticed and back up the conveyor belt. So what I need you to do when you are rushing into solve instead of listen is I want you to literally take what you want to say and put it on a shelf where you can see it as a little glowing orb and tell yourself, wait your turn. Not your turn yet. Wait your turn. Don't beat yourself up. Don't ask them to repeat themselves unless you really need to. Just put it on a shelf. It'll come back. You don't have to ignore it. If you ignore it, it'll double down on itself. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you do that, you'll slow the whole process down. But put it on that shelf. Hold that thought, right? Number 2, what we're going to do to show that we're active listening and to use based on what you just told me is you are going to paraphrase their concerns and you're going to use their exact words. If you're listening, you also have time to take notes. So if someone tells you that they are freaking horrified about the potential of yet another failure, I want you to use the phrase freaking horrified. Not worried, not scared, not afraid. Why? It shows that I'm listening. Based on what you told me about being so freaking horrified that this isn't going to work, I think you might have been burned by my competitors before. Ew, I'm sorry. And would you like to talk a little bit more about why that's not going to happen this time? Then you take your orb. Then you insert your solution. Not a second before. So those two are a 1-2 punch. We're going to practice active listening. Then we're going to take what we heard, paraphrase it, and feed it back to them so they feel seen, safe, supported, and heard. They cannot make a decision except for under duress, which is a one-time buy until they feel those things. Now, since you're doing all this active listening and you're looking at a way to illuminate the issue that is interesting to both of you, what I want you to specifically look for as they're talking is the kernel of truth in their hesitation. This is where the empathy comes in. You may think, it's a financial objection. I'm the lowest price on the market. What the hell? You may be the lowest price on the market, but you don't know if they had to put their dog down yesterday. A thing that I can't imagine people actually have to get charged for, but they do. You don't know how an objection changes minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, based on circumstances that they have not disclosed that are beyond our control. So rather than try to find the fault in their logic, I implore you, y'all, look for the kernel of truth. I don't care if it's a $37 low ticket item. If it's 37 of their favorite dollars and they don't want to part with them, they're not sure on the value yet. The kernel of truth is those are 37 of their favorite dollars that could be spent taking their niece out to dinner. Kernel of truth. Now, it's not just financial objections, right? The kernel of truth. All of us know a place in our industry where our industry falls flat for people. We don't have to throw all of our competitors under the bus. We don't have to make enemies. But one of the main kernels of truth is you have been burned before. Can't argue that. That's true. How many of us have been sold too badly? How many of us have been sold too badly by someone we trusted? 100% of us. All of us. We carry that sales trauma with us as a form of self-protection. The kernel of truth is they are afraid to invest in themselves. How do we tackle that? Plainly, compassionately, and head on. The way through objections is through them, not around them. If we look for the kernel of truth and relate that we understand it, we gain permission to dig deeper, ask tougher questions, and figure out what deeper truth or deeper misconception is sitting under that one kernel of truth. Now, Grant Cardone, arguably the least Annie P. Ruggles person on the planet. You take me, you take Grant Cardone, you're like, what is up with this? Now, he's got a lot of great points. He's got a lot of stuff I don't agree with. For those of you who don't know, he's like a gajillionaire. He basically always has all of his stuff on a yacht. He always shows up in like a 3-piece suit, impeccable. Some may call him a shark. He seems like a pretty nice guy, but he gets stuff done in a different way than me. The place where we come together, the Grant Cardone quote that I will quote until I die is, if you get a financial objection, It's because they're not clear enough on your value. I would substitute that for any objection, not just financial. If you're getting an objection, they have confusion and lack clarity around your objection, okay? Around your value. So what you're going to do in no uncertain terms is you're going to reiterate the value of your offer in a new way that speaks directly to that kernel of truth. I understand that those are your 37 favorite dollars, but what I think I haven't yet communicated properly is that in that $37, I'm actually working to save you $2,000 of costly mistakes. It's a 12-week program. Whew. It's a 12-week program. That is a huge expenditure of time. That is a huge expenditure of energy and faith. But the reason why it's 12 weeks is that week after week after week, the strategy builds. And also we have some time for if life happens, if you want to go on vacation, if you get COVID, God forbid, you're not going to be behind. We have time built in. See, we are reiterating the value, we are reiterating the promise, and we're providing evidence to the contrary. This is a great place for social support to come in. Social proof, social support. You know, I had another client who came to me and said that exact same fear, and here's how we navigated that. Or if you don't have an appropriate testimonial for it, maybe your own point of visibility. Vulnerability and visibility. I started this whole talk telling y'all I was the most sales avoidant person on the earth, on the whole earth. Why do I do that? To handle the objection up front that another boring, pushy salesperson is here to help me make money. No, that's not me. I'm just like you. I'm just happen to be 3 years ahead of the curve. That's my vulnerability, handling your objection. Social proof is amazing for that. Storytelling is amazing for that. And your own vulnerability is amazing for that. But just don't forget, number 4 is equally important. Many, many buyers are motivated by story. Many, many buyers are motivated by emotion. But if I don't understand the itemized value of what I am receiving, I'm probably setting myself up for a financial objection. Side note here, y'all. One thing you can do to handle a financial objection up front, I'm just going to tell you this right now, is to put your prices on your website. There is someday going to be a big West Side Story gang fight between all of the marketing and salespeople that say, do not put your prices on your website ever. And those of us like me that are like, could I put it in neon? Does it need to be bigger? There are different reasons to do it and different reasons not to do it. But my number one reason to heckin' do it, is why wait to find out if they have a financial objection? Why wait to find out if your pricing is just way too far apart? Why wait? You can do number 4, you can do number 5, and you can list your prices up front in an FAQ, in a product tour, in an explainer video. There are so many ways. All right. Number 6, we're getting to the end. We're getting to the juicy stuff here. Number 6. Y'all, I told you before, the way objection handling is taught is largely based on other people's laziness or greed. Do not allow yourself to get lazy or complacent. When you find an objection, it is your job as strategist, as service provider, as leader, as coach, as mentor, as whatever, to climb down in there into that muck and find a solution together. There is always, always, always a way to make headway by the end of the call. There is always, always, always a quick win, a quick reframe, an action item that you could take on yourself, something you haven't shared yet. Get in there, get proactive. Don't take that objection lying down. You are not in to argue it. Baby, you're in there to solve it, right? For my hip hop lovers in the group, right? If there is a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out this hook while my DJ revolves it, right? We are in the game of solving problems. That's all selling is. Ethical selling is the art of problem solving for money. That's it. That's the only thing. So get in there and solve this freaking problem with them. It will make the trust factor of no like trust soar to the moon. That being said, there is always an action item you can take on the call. However, sometimes a decision simply cannot or will not be made on that call. Again, other people's laziness, other people's greed, they would say if you let them off the phone, they're gone. That's lazy, y'all. That's lazy. If I follow up, that's pushy. That's lazy too. That's lazy too. Acknowledge that people have their own timelines, their own lives, and their own deciding processes. If someone needs more time, we give them more time. And just like that being an objection, oh no, an objection is just a red flag that it's failing. Someone coming back to you and saying, you know, I need some time to think it over is not the kiss of death. It's not. It, again, like the objection itself, is a chance to double down and go deeper. All right. We're in the home stretch now, folks. So let's actually walk through the big 5 objections. Number 1, this one won't work for me. Your competitor failed me. Also known as, I tried this before. Okay. Practice, practice, practice.
Sorry about that. Hang on one second. Let me bring that back. Doing some testing, should have known better. I know Annie was like really on it. Okay, you're gonna have to help me out here. Make sure that I'm in the right spot. Do me a favor in the chat window. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot in the video. This is what she was just on this slide, right?
Their own lives and their own deciding processes.
Does this sound
if someone needs
about
more time,
right?
We give them more time. And just
you
like
hear
that
her?
being an objection, oh no, an objection is just a
Okay.
red flag that it's failing.
Sorry
Someone
about that.
coming
Thank
back
you.
to you and
Back
saying,
to
you
our
know, I
regular
need some time to think
program.
it over is not the kiss of death. It's not. It, again, like the objection itself, is a chance to double down and go deeper. All right. Program that didn't deliver. Holy cow, I would be furious. Right? I don't know that person, but I'm sorry they treated you that way. That's not something I would do to my clients. Look for the kernel of truth in their hesitation. Y'all, we have all been burned. And by the time your prospect comes to you, so have they. This is especially relevant for those of you who identify as coaches like I do. How many lackluster, not qualified coaches are there out there? And just because their website is prettier and shinier than ours doesn't mean that they're worth the freaking print that it would take to print out their sales page, right? They have been burned before. The kernel of truth is that other people have promised and underdelivered. Right there. They have been dangled a carrot and gotten a stick, or if anything, just totally left empty-handed. In that vein, you're going to reiterate the value of what you do. Not them, you. And not just you, the two of you, prospect and guide together. This is how what we'll do is going to be more valuable. And these are people just like you that it has worked for, many of whom I know also worked with so-and-so, if you feel the need to disclose. Get proactive and find a solution together. Y'all. Do not underestimate the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift of giving people a reframe in real time. Shifting someone's perspective in real time busting a myth. What that's doing is creating a paradigm shift so that when they got on the call, were associating you with every other business coach or therapist or chiropractor they've ever met. But if you get in there, you get proactive and you get them that reframe. If you get in there, you get active and you give them something with generosity. Now we're finding a solution together. And accept that you might need to follow up again and again and again with something like a comparison chart, with something like an itemized list of value. Now, the phrase that pays here, the Annie P phrase that pays for "this won't work for me" or "your competitor failed me" is specifically, exactly, down to the letter, granularly how I stand against that. Here's how my work is different. Here's how working with me is different. Here's how my client approach is different. Whatever it has to be. You may think that they have intuited this. You may think that they have gleaned this from your website. Repetition makes money, honey. Here's how I'm different. Clear as day. If they've been burned before, we honor the fact that they've been burned before. We don't have to throw the industry under the bus, but we damn well better say, here's how you're not going to get burned again. Boom. Biggie number 2. I can't pull this off. This is the energetic version of the cost objection. Maybe it's time, maybe it's energy, but underneath it is the idea of I cannot rise to the occasion of what you are asking of me. I am incapable. I am not a fit toward this thing because of my self-perception or the realities of my life. Practice, practice, practice active listening. If their dog's name is Ringo and Ringo has been tearing up their office, you could be like, look, I know it's going to feel weird to come into a program on meditation when you literally just watched your dog eat a Funko doll. I get it. Ringo, you're involved too, right? Paraphrase the concern, use their exact words. I understand the energetic costs that you're worried about. I know from personal experience how wild it can be to self-prioritize when you have kids. Whatever it is, right? Look for that kernel of truth. Reiterate the value. I can't pull this off. Well, yeah, not without support. I can't pull this off. Actually, you can. It is designed specifically for people like you. It is after bedtime for moms just like you. Each video is only 8 minutes long, so you can watch it on your lunch break at work. Whatever it is, reinforced with social proof and your own vulnerability. Get proactive. I can't pull this off. You know what? Yes, you freaking can. Again, a little action item, a little win goes a long way. Get proactive. Find them a win on the freaking call. Find them a win before you hang off, because then they can't say, I can't pull this off. You just did pull something off. You haven't even paid me and you already pulled something off. Hot damn, we're off to the races, right? And understand, sometimes people need to open up to the possibility of investing in themselves. If you are an other-centered person, an empathic person, a caregiver, a social worker, someone who has been told that your gifts are from God, whatever it may be, you may need some extra help getting over that hurdle. If you haven't had success in the past, maybe you haven't had support in the past. So the phrase that pays here is you were not properly supported then. And let's change that so that everyone can benefit. Why is that important? I can't pull this off is actually meaning if I prioritize me, I'm being selfish. If I spend money on me, I'm taking shoes out of my children's closet. If I prioritize me, I'm taking money away from my marriage or my goals or my life, right? If I prioritize me, other people are going to be negatively impacted when I start to change and grow. No, y'all. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than them. And it has a ripple effect of value that goes on and on and on and on. If someone has told you about their kids, they might be hoping that you'll understand that they don't feel right choosing themselves over their kids. So your job becomes, how does hiring me, how does coming into my program directly and indirectly benefit that kid? And how can I work with them to turn that kid into a cheerleader, a support system, a sounding board, whatever it may be? How do we flip that obstacle into opportunity? How do we build support around them? And how do we show them that one bold, brave act of self-prioritization done over time has a ripple effect we cannot calculate? You're not just selling car parts if you're a mechanic. You're selling somebody's ability to get to work. You're selling somebody's ability to provide. You're selling somebody's ability to go and do the things that make their life a life. It's not just car parts. If we allow them to think, well, it's so selfish for me to fix my car, my kid doesn't even have a bicycle, then you better say, well, until we can buy your kid a bike, we may as well have them be safe in this car. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than them. And the value is so far reaching. Biggie number 3. We already touched on this one, gang. I need to talk to my blank. If I had $1 for every time I was told not to talk to my husband, my mom, my advisors, both of my parents are entrepreneurs. My husband is also in sales. He also has the opposite brain of me. He's Mr. Money, right? He's Mr. Detail. I'm all Miss Strategy. I'm out here doing. He's like, hold on. These bills got to get paid. Let's break this down. I personally, this is one of my biggest, air quotes, objections, right? Practice, active listening. Who are these other deciders? Why is their opinion important? Paraphrase the concern. Yes, I could totally understand why Trevor would be concerned, especially based on what you just told me about the $12,000 you invested last year and how that impacted the two of you and your relationship. I get that. Look for the kernel of truth in their hesitation. They are a person with a support system that they would like to treat well. They are a person with a support system that they would like to consult. That's it. Reiterate the value of your offer and provide evidence to the contrary, but I'm going to jump over to the phrase that pays here. Reiterate it for them to communicate to their secondary deciders. So the phrase that pays here is, what info or approach will help them help you decide? If they're giving me the same storytelling spiel they gave me that made me feel all love and light, then I'm going to be all revved up. I'm going to go to Mr. Numbers down there and he's going to go, okay, but do they offer a payment plan? If we don't know what's important to them, then we're not enabling our prospects to handle objections for us, are we? Reinforce with social proof and your own vulnerability. That one we already touched on. That is going to come after making your case through that other decider. And if you can't or don't want to make the case through the other decider, get proactive, find a solution together. Y'all, I actually say this and it shocks the pants off of people. If someone tells me in my business they want to talk to their decider, I say, what's their name? What matters to them, and would they like to talk to me directly? People lose their minds. Because even if it is a convenient excuse, oh no, I just don't want to say no, I'm going to blame it on, my ex-boyfriend, Trevor. If Trevor's not really the factor, then they're going to have to come up with a deeper, more truthful way to explain to me their hesitations, or they're just going to get off the phone. If I say, let me talk to Trevor, and they go, oh no, that would make me uncomfortable, then they're not a fit for you, right? At the same point, what happens if I do talk to Trevor? 9 times out of 10, when I talk to the Trevors of the world, who knows why that's the name of the day, but hey, Trevor, 9 times out of 10, when I talk to Trevor, they go, this is so goofy. I told him to do it. I told him to sign up. He thinks I have a problem? Well, yeah, my only concern is how we're going to pay for this thing, right? It's right there on the surface. 9 times out of 10, Trevor's objection is less than the person thinks. How do we find that out? We empower them to ask, and if they don't feel fully empowered to ask, we make ourselves available proactively. Now, maybe you don't have time for an extra sales call. Maybe you have a PDF, a cheat sheet, a guide, something that breaks it down different ways that you can send along. Maybe you have an explainer video specifically for the husbands, wives, spouses, deciders, business partners, bosses of the people you're encountering. And except that you might follow up again. Trevor's got questions. You got to make yourself available. Biggie number 4. I need more time to think it over. Great. Doesn't everybody? If you went to a restaurant and they had a big old menu and you were super excited and super hungry, if you went to a restaurant and they said, these are today's specials, here's your menu, and they immediately said, okay, Josh, what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat, Josh? You need to pick. Do, 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 do. What are you going to eat? You going to eat the salmon? You going to eat the chicken? Do, 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 do. You got till the end of the song to decide, otherwise you're not going to eat. Do, 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 do. You'd be like, I'm leaving this restaurant. This place is hell. I'm out. I cannot make a decision in a crowd. I cannot make a decision rushed. Can't make a decision when I'm hungry. I just can't. Sometimes things require more time. So my favorite phrase that pays here is, great. Here's some homework for you. Back to the quick win. What can I assign to that person between now and the point of decision that will prove to them that my method works? What is the first foundational win that makes all other wins possible? Sometimes, most times, y'all, this is an InfoCrack product or a freebie or a podcast episode that you already have. Hey, listen to this podcast episode. I think you'll really love the way that we tackle blah, blah, blah. Hey, fill out this worksheet. Fill out this template. I'd be really interested to see what it changes for you. And if you'd feel comfortable, share your findings with me so that we can work on them together. Whatever it is, it may be my grandpa's favorite acronym, APF, which stands for already paid for, right? Or in Annie Line's AS, already strategized. You may already have this process in place to get people deeper into your funnel. What a gorgeous place to say, hey, by the way, do not pass go. Do not collect $200 until you make sure you have seen minute 17 through 19 of my 1-hour webinar. You don't have to go back through the sales page. I know you signed up for it before minute 17 through 19. Here's a link direct. Watch it and get back to me. Proactive. Not only you, but make them act. So many of us are afraid that if we dive, nothing will change. We show them the change from moment one. Great. Here's some homework for you in the meantime while you think it over. And then the amazing thing is when you follow up, you have a reason to follow up. Hey, Josh, how's your homework going? Do you listen to 17 and 19? Weird stuff, right? Gets totally off the rails at 20. How bonkers, how fun. But 17 and 19, did that land on you like I thought it would? Where are you in your decision-making process? Did this bring up more questions for you? Need another little nudge? Let me know. Can't wait to hear from you. That's an assumptive close. Can't wait to hear from you. Right? Can't wait to hear from you. Hey, it's time. You've been great. You've been patient. Here comes the big kahuna. I can't afford it. Okay. Well, guess what, y'all? Sometimes they can't. And how you handle this is everything. Because if someone cannot afford you, truly, completely cannot afford you, you have two options. You can be like, hey, put it on a credit card, don't get your hair done, all that jerky stuff we talked about previously. Or you can give them the homework you just gave the last guy and say, I understand that this is not going to fit right now. I get it. However, go do this homework, get a quick win. And all I ask is when you do, you come back and let me know how it worked out. This way, you don't make anyone feel like a broke ass. You don't make anyone feel like a failure. You take away the sting of embarrassment and you get them a win. You can get referrals this way. You can get testimonials this way from people that didn't even pay you themselves. But how you shoot that in the foot is make someone feel less than when they give you an actual financial objection. How do we do that? We practice listening. Yes, of course. We paraphrase the concern. Yes, it is an investment. Heck yes. Look for the kernel of truth. I am competitively priced, but I understand that that's more money than you were looking to spend today. Reiterate the value. Here's what actually goes into that payment, itemized, what you will receive. Here is social proof that shows you it is worth every penny, right? Get proactive. Here's how we're going to have a quick win that might make you some money tomorrow. It's not going out and getting a credit card. Go ask for 5 testimonials and post them on your social. I bet that'll make you some money. Then come on back to me. And accept again that you may need to follow up again and again over a period of years while someone's financial situation changes. My buy cycle can be up to a year and a half. I work diligently to get that down, but some people just need to save up. They just need to make the money. They just need to invest. Now, the one way you can recoup this is you can meet them where they are and you could say, hey, here's the phrase that pays. What were you hoping I'd say the investment was today? If you just pitch them $5,000 and they come back and say $500, you might be way too far apart. You can't negotiate that far. 5,500, you're never going to meet in the middle. Now, if you have a ladder of services, that may be an opportunity for a downsell. If you have a payment plan, that may be an opportunity for a recurring side sell. Right? But if we don't ask what they were wanting to spend, we don't know what their perceived value of this experience was or what their budget is. So that's why I always ask, when you got on this call with me today, you knew we were going to talk about money at some point. What were you crossing your fingers and toes that I would say the price was? I want to meet you where you are. For that price, I can offer you this, or unfortunately, at that price, I don't have a great solution for you. Whatever way you go, you know what you're actually properly handling, and you'll never, ever be too far apart. Not every conversion is a yes at the end of a sales call. A testimonial, a great experience, a referral, a case study in the making. A great new business connection who will go out and evangelize for you, a new podcast subscriber, whatever it may be. Those are all successful sales calls. Not all of them need to end in money. Obviously, we're a business. Obviously, we are here at Fame and Profit to be famous and make money. However, if we shy away from talking about what they want to invest in you, and what they can invest in you, we miss the opportunity to truly serve them. Y'all, all the horrible ways that you have been lied to, manipulated, and tricked in the past are not required selling. I hope I've proven that to you today. But asking is, and the best way to handle objections is with the empathy we've been promised all along. So I'm going to bring Josh back so we can talk for a couple seconds about some of the objections he may have encountered or his response to this. But I thank you all so much for your time and attention today. Get out there and sell gorgeously.
Annie, so much fun. Thank you so much for this. And I think, what I love about your approach here is, I think if we were just to talk intellectually about some of these things, these might be scary things to consider, scary things that brings up a lot of stuff for us, our own fears, our own insecurities. Oh my gosh, if I ask for the sale, they're going to think I'm a bad person or I'm being pushy. And I think that intention, and I'd love your take on this, because this is one thing I'd say, and boy, would I love to hear your what you have to say on this. I truly believe that today buyers have never been savvier. They've never been more wise, because buyers today are exposed to being sold at a rate never before seen on this planet. And so you've created this hyper-resistant population. So what do we all have, right? Is we all have this ability to kind of read people. Like we see this, like you could watch a reality TV show and there's going to be some people you really like, some people you really don't like. And you're like, why? I don't know. It's just like, there's something about them, right? So the same thing in sales, right? It's like, if your intention is just all about you, you're going to find that a lot of what Annie was sharing, it's going to be hard to adapt these, I would say, in very authentic ways. And if your heart is true, in other words, you are here today because, yeah, you need to get paid. But hang on a second, hang on. Your primary purpose is to create an impact and improve the lives of other people. And you truly believe that your product or service, you have a moral obligation. Like, in other words, you've come to grips with the fact that if this person does not use your product, you have some pretty good ideas about what the consequences of that are. So it's not about, I got to make this sale so I can make money. It's, I truly want to be a powerful and positive force in this person's life with my product or service. Ultimately, it's their choice, but if I don't show up in their life and do so in the way that I know that, my heart tells me to, then, I feel like I may be doing them a disservice. Like if you can make that shift, and here, I'll sum it up. Here's the TLDR. You broadcast your intention, even before you speak. We all know what you want. We all know what you want. If you want my best interest and we're coming together and you've got an offer or whatever like that, I know it. I feel it before you even start talking. So you cannot fool anybody today. All right, Annie, that's my little thesis. Take it away.
Oh my God, the gimmicks, the tricks, we've heard them all over. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we could see them. And the other thing you said, we've been sold too badly. We have our own problems. We have our own hangups. We have our everything else. Let's not even ignore the fact that, there are negative, stigmatized salespeople in all pop culture. It's part of the reason why I have a pop culture podcast, right? It's like, oh my gosh, when's the last time you saw a positive model of a sales transaction on TV or a movie? Probably never. There are jerky salespeople in Animal Crossing, which is a Nintendo game I play with my 7-year-old nephew, okay? We are teaching them young. We know that we want what we want, and good for us. Fame and profit, baby. Let's get at it. However, I get asked all the time, Annie, fundamentally, what is the difference between sleazy sales and non-sleazy sales? Sleazy sales is after a paycheck. Non-sleazy sales honors people on both ends of the transaction, you and them. If you're not handling objections well, you're doing yourself a disservice just as much as you're doing the client a disservice. If you are allowing laziness to curb your follow-up, you are allowing that to hurt you as much as it hurts them. A lot of us are worried about how selling will impact the person on the other end of the transaction now. That's great. Those are our heart-centered people, our empaths, the people we've been talking to this whole time. But y'all, if you are not willing to go to the mattresses to handle these objections, to get into the muck, and to rise above the gimmicks, the tripwires, the 97s, book in the next 5 minutes and I'll double your order for free. We are not, as seen on television, potholders, y'all. We're not knives. We are people. We are flesh and blood, and we have goals. We create a solution together. That's how we get around the gimmick. That's how we make the impact. That's how we fame. That's how we profit.
I love it. So Annie P. Ruggles, for our VIP attendees, I know you've got some gifts and goodies, right?
Oh, heck yes, I do. So listen, y'all. I am giving you the opportunity to have 45 minutes concentrated just with me. And it's not a freaking sales call, because then everything I just modeled would be out the window. 45 minutes to prep for your next selling situation. That could be writing a sales page, going into some kind of negotiation, dealing with client re-enrollment, getting your sales pitch down, handling these objections, whatever you want. 45 minutes, you and me, trying to make sure we get as much done so you can make better money more ethically tomorrow. So that's what VIPs will receive, is that opportunity to sit right down with me. And if you want to go hard on objections, we will play objections roulette, and you will love it. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That is an insanely generous gift. Thank you so much, Annie. Listen, I from the moment we met, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like we're going to become best friends.
I think we might already be best friends. We're just not hanging out yet. Like, yeah.
Yep. So Annie, thank you again so much. Love your presentation. To our VIP attendees, you'll see the links exactly how to redeem that. If you're not VIP, not to worry. You can, go ahead and click on the link and it'll take you to the page. You can get that taken care of right now. And then you can get the 45 minutes with Annie. Thank you so much, Annie, for this amazing presentation.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, Josh.
Oh man, was that awesome or what? Annie is a rock star, absolute rock star. Listen, we got to end right now because we have our VIP mixer right now. If you're Diamond or speaker, come on over. You'll have the link. If you want to join us, go grab that really quick. Totally up to you. Otherwise, have lunch and we'll see you at 1 o'clock. I will be back. It's my big keynote. This is do not miss. We're going to kick it off with a quick rapid fire panel, and then we're going to go into a lot of learning. It's going to be a lot of fun. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you either on the mixer or we'll see you at 1 o'clock. Take care.